Yo, okay, back on. Pete is said he'll join us shortly. I think. Hopefully. Um, Alright, I think he said give me 3 minutes, about 3 minutes ago, so I told him just to join when he's ready. Shout out to Shroomy, 22 Savage, Tone, Steve Antonios, Fallen Angel, Jed Skeptic, Neo Omega. So this one, it's still processing. Okay, so that should be deleted. Probably delete that too. I could probably delete the video. Oh, I didn't want to show that. I could probably delete the video with where I talked to A. A4 just goes on a rant about what is he even talking about? Fuck. Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson and then how he goes to talk to people in real life and wake them up. What's going on? I deleted my other Hangout that I just had running. I don't know. Is the stream working? Let's see here. Oh shit, Vincent's in fucking Oh, there's two streams going. I see what's happening. Oh, this is just a reminder. No, there's just the one stream. Yeah, it should be good. Vincent P. Is that the real Vincent in Hillbilly's room right now?
Well, they call them. We have three. We're on our third one.
Fucking Jimbo.
The other two are still applicable to a certain degree, but they're Constitution acts. They're referred to legally here. Acts of the Constitution.
I thought it was 33 seconds long, Shroomy. That's kind of suspicious, don't you think? Do you think they did that on purpose, Shroomy?
Later on, all our laws were nullified, ruled.
Pete said, we'll see how good your poker game is. I am good at poker, P. Mars. I will even show you my eyes. LOL. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Tone. Oh, Tone, you must be hearing my my old Hangout. Yeah, I played the Sex Pistols song EMI. The lyrics are kind of funny. What are the lyrics to that? And you thought that we were faking, that we were all just money making. You do not believe we're for real, or would you lose your cheap appeal? Don't judge a book just by the cover unless you cover just another. A blind acceptance is a sign of stupid fools who stand in line. Like EMI. That's I guess that's the only, I kind of like those lyrics. It comes from a stupid ass Sex Pistols band. I don't know. Pete's messaging me and he said he was gonna roll one and then hop on, but not seeing him. He's leaving me hanging out to dry like I left Jem last night. Ha. Mark Taylor triggered me pretty hard. Oh, fuck. I gotta stop using that word, triggered. Dark Star told me that if I knew what that word meant, I wouldn't use it. And she told me to be careful about the words. You know, you gotta be careful about the words you use because they have, I guess, she believes that the words have occult power and that the simplest form of a spell is just to wish something. So I guess if you're praying to Jesus, you're kind of doing magic. It's like that The Secret type thing. Writing down. Actually, when I was this is all fucking got pipe resin and shit on it, but I made this for poker. And I wrote down like the type of poker player I want to be. And then it helps you kind of like mentally visualize what you want to be, and then you can achieve your goals type of a deal. That's a form of magic. This is actually from, I used to do Bible study on this page. This is, I did Bible study with this woman named Nadine. What if I was to tell you that God has destined you to be a mighty man of valor? What would you say? What did Gideon say to the angel of the Lord? Anyways, wow, we got Pete finally. Holy crap.
Hey, man.
Hey, Pete.
How you doing?
I'm good. I had good lunch. Yummy cheeseburger. Are
Shea
you
and
a
Mars.
Yeah, what's up, Pete? Well, thanks for coming on, by the way. It's nice to have you.
Bit controversial.
A little bit.
We'll get into that. There's
Sure.
no holds barred tonight in tonight's poker game. We're off air now, so that's good. Okay, well.
No, actually, this is on air. I stream.
says-
Yeah.
It says off air. Can you put a link to the live stream?
Yep.
Just in the local chat here. It says off air on my screen here.
Yeah, because I stream with
Yeah, that's fine.
a
I don't
different
mind.
thing. I don't use the Hangout thing to stream. I stream out of Open Broadcaster, so that way, like, if someone were trying to snipe us, we would stay online. So that's
Okay,
kind of why
well,
I do that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that aspect of things. In my YouTube account, I have 26 subscribers, but I have no videos, so I don't know why
Okay.
people are subscribing to me. I don't know what's happening
Sometimes
because.
Well,
yeah,
sometimes
you know.
I'll just subscribe. Like, if I see someone in a channel and we're chatting, I'll just subscribe to them, even if they don't have videos. I don't know why I do that, but I do that. So I assume people do that to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know more about it than I do, but I mean, I take it that, obviously if there's nothing produced, you don't get any notifications.
Mm.
So there's no point. What's the point in that? I don't see it. But I guess there's always a chance I might put a video out. I'm going to put a video out actually, and I could have done a lot of videos. Actually, it's quite a bit of stuff I could have done. That listen, P Mars.
Hmm.
If even one of the topics that we have covered over the years, and we can get into this. I don't know how long you willing to talk. I know you took a quick lunch there. You were about 2 hours away, so
I mean, I'm good for as long
let
as
everyone know.
we're good for as long as you're good. We can stay on as long as you
Okay,
want.
okay, cool. So there's no time limit, and just to
No.
let everyone know, me and P Mars have agreed previously to have a break every half hour. He's just going to pick up a big snack, and I'm going to smoke a joint. So that's just a pre-arrangement we've had. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That wasn't a bad joke. Oh no. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I have a bit of a strange sense of humor. I don't mean anything. I have to tell everyone in general if we're going to have a conversation. I've never spoken to you before individually, man.
No, we've been on the panel a couple times. Actually, I think when I've been on a panel with you, it's been in Earth discussions, and I've usually tried to get your back on issues. Actually,
Yes, exactly. Which is why I'm talking to you now, because it's going to be an interesting conversation, and just about my sense of humor. It's my own sense of humor. I'm always the first to laugh at my own jokes, so I cannot pass any apologies. But if you take something wrongly, or if you think I mean it with bad intention, well, then that's not my fault, So I'm just going to let you know now that's bound to happen over the course of the evening. But I don't mean anything intentionally. I might ask a few biting questions, straight up questions.
Gotcha.
Remember we agreed earlier on it was going to be an honest debate.
yes.
In the chat. So, and that's all we'll ask for. And I love my fellow man, P Mars, and we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's the way I look upon it. I don't hate anybody. From the very earliest of times, I have a son, 14. I haven't seen him in a while, and I love him very much, Stephen. And, but from the earliest of times, we know about using the hate word, because the hate word is a very strong word. And if you use it for little things, well, what word are you going to use for the big thing? And how are you going to be able to distinguish after using these words sort of intermittently and interminglingly, which hate is worse hate, when you're dealing with two different types of hate, But anyway, so that'll be my position. And I look forward to the debate, if you, whatever you want to call it, more discussion.
Right.
Would you want me to call you something else but P Mars? You said your name is Patrick.
Yeah, you can call me Patrick or whatever.
Okay, I'll whatever.
People call me Mars too. So
So let's get going then. And by the way, I've been sick as a dog for the last 2 days. I look upon it as a purging on this beautiful flat Earth of ours, P Mars. So I've had a smoke tonight. I have a brew here.
Nice,
it's called
man.
a canned coffee. It's a coffee with if you have spoon of honey or a half spoon of sugar, 2 spoons of coconut oil, a little sprinkling of Mother Nature's cannabis, and Bob's your uncle. You're definitely not doing too bad. And I had a smoke as well, so just to let you know, but I'm fine. I'm a long-term stoner. I think I was born with a big fat doobie in my mouth, Oh no, actually that was the umbilical cord. Yeah, they had to cut my mother open, rip me out in an emergency C-section. So no, I'm kidding. None of that is true. But yeah, I've been smoking I'm 45, recently turned 45, as these shitheads would tell me, In other words, it doesn't matter at all. Time doesn't matter. They've taken time and fucking told me what it is, whereas they can't do that, so they can't tell me anymore. But I'm 45 according to that calendar, and I'm ancient in real terms, So that's where I'm at. I had a joint.
Are you talking about being an old soul and reincarnation? Do you mean like you believe in that stuff?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I also believe, that, and again, it's all about words again. I don't even like believe. Again, it contains the word lie in it. And we know this. It's not, obviously we learn this. We learn everything from someone else, you know what I mean? and we sort of process things in our own way and say it in our own way. So if I repeat an oft sort of quoted truth, that doesn't make me lazy or sort of, half-hearted.
No, I
It's
think
just,
there's a lot of truth to that. I had a woman I interviewed, my friend. Her name is Dark Star, and she practices magic. She used to be part of Wiccan, but now she's not. She
yeah,
doesn't really identify with that. But she says that like her first spell is just saying just saying words is a spell. And when you look at the English language, it comes from this guy Francis Bacon, who
yeah,
edited the first edition of the King James Bible, and people think he was Shakespeare, and he's highly suspicious character. He's a Rosicrucian, and I think it's sort of the English language is like 1984 Newspeak, and they've crafted it to enslave our thoughts and by the words we say, we generate a lot of energy into our lives, and they've crafted the language to benefit the rulers. So yeah, and then when they come up with these new buzzwords like triggered is a word that gets used a lot now. And the woman on my show, Dark Star, she said, if I knew what that meant, I would never use that word. So I've been trying to not say that word now. It's like hard because you get when people say a word a lot. Yeah, when people say a word, it becomes slang, and then you get used to saying it just because everyone else is doing it, right?
So, what's an alternative? If before the word triggered came along, how would you describe it? It sort of comes parts and parcel with this new media we're having as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, pissed off or something like that. Yeah, I guess pissed off probably.
Which doesn't quite cover it. Triggered is just a better word, isn't it? Which is why it's difficult to revert back to.
Yeah.
And it's on the script line, pissed off, because it mightn't necessarily be pissed off. It would just be getting someone involved in a topic. You know what I mean? That's what I would consider triggered. Getting someone emotional in it, not necessarily pissed off. But
usually it has a connotation of them being angry, though. I would say.
Well, I mean, listen, we agree on such a I agree fundamentally. I've been saying the same thing for years, and again, we learn all our information from somewhere else. Yes, Francis, everything I say is in my point of view, where I'm not telling anyone anything. It's just where I'm at, right? Francis Bacon, absolutely, Shakespeare, and it wasn't just him. It was sort of a coordinated team of writers. Philip Marlowe, and lots of other people are mentioned as well. And I haven't thought about this in years as well. And I don't care to delve into it because I just take it for granted at this stage. And they introduced roughly about half again in terms of the wordage within the English language. And yes, it's mostly encoded. It's all encoded, and there are many different meanings to many different words, depending on the context. We know that anyway, depending on the context. So I often ask the question, do you think it's a coincidence that the words pray, P-R-A-Y, and P-R-E-Y?
Oh, no. My one of my friends says, if you pray, expect to get prayed on. I like that saying. She says, if you pray, expect to get prayed on. But we're kind of getting off topic, I guess. Jed Skeptic here in the chat is saying... We should get back to 9/11. I guess that's what we're...
I'm sorry, I'm not pleasing you.
You're not pleasing him.
Try, my son.
Are ye not entertained, Jed? I love that line in, what's that movie with Kurt Russell? Gladiator. Is that his name? Or Russell Crowe? I think Russell Crowe. Where he says, are you not entertained? I love that line in that movie. But anyways, so 9/11...
Russell Crowe is actually a relation of mine.
Oh, crazy! You must be an agent then. So
I say a relation of mine. Lots of families went from Ireland to America and Ireland to Australia. So it's strange. He doesn't know it. He doesn't know it, but I'm pretty sure that it is the case based on my mother's family. So it would have been that sort of. My mother's mother had my mother. And my mother had me, and I was very young when I was a baby. P. Mars, I'm not sure about you, but that's getting off the point. Anyway,
yeah.
Now,
so 9/11, we actually probably agree on more than we disagree, right? Like, we both think.
Well, how do you want to do this? How do you want to do this? I mean, it's your forum, and I told you I'm willing to debate 9/11. Let me start off with my basic premise then.
Sure.
and then
Sure.
you can take the floor, and you can continue in any way you choose, or you can instruct me, whatever. I will go along with it.
Sure. Give your
Um,
viewpoint.
my my basic premise is 9/11 was a media fakery extravaganza. The world was fooled. We watched a movie on 9/11. No one was hurt. If anyone was hurt, that's my starting and finishing position. No one was hurt, and if anyone was hurt, it was an accident in production. That's all it was. So that's my premise. The world is fooled, and everything that has happened since has happened on the back of this mass deception.
Okay. I think 9/11 was. I think that's going too far. Like the whole no people died. I can't ever accept that. These huge buildings came down. Like surely someone would have died, even if it was like a production. Like there would have been an
Well,
accident or
rather
someone.
than rather than do that, P. Mars, why don't you just start off first of all and say what your current understanding, where you're happy
So
at being in terms of just a basic summation. That would be better, and then
I'm
you can go immediately.
okay.
I just want to know where you stand as well, because I don't know. You see.
Okay, so I kind of woke up, I guess, to 9/11 was the big thing for me, and I got really passionate and obsessed with it, and I poured over every like piece of data I could find on the topic, and it seems to me that there the planes did not bring the buildings down. I think there were planes. I know there's the No Planes documentary, and I think that is sort of like a psyop to divert from real conspiracies, sort of like the No Forest on Flat Earth video, but that's a different thing. But so I think there were planes. I think people did die. I think they lied to us about the plane's ability to make the building collapse. I think the whole official story doesn't really make sense. I honestly think it was trauma-based mind control. I think it was ritual black magic, actually, and that they needed people to die because they wanted, like, you're familiar with blood over intent. So these people
Mm-hmm.
that are doing this, they're doing it as a spell, and they believe that if people die, their blood adds to the power of their spell. And it was basically a magic spell. It was trauma based, or if you want to look at it scientifically, I would say trauma based mind control, because when you experience traumatic events, it kind of sticks out in your mind. Like everyone kind of remembers when they saw those towers collapse, because that's like a horrifying thing to think of. Like you imagine, what if you were in that building, right? Because everyone's been in a building, so
Yep.
it kind of strikes a chord with everyone seeing like basically people die. It's like a snuff
Well,
film.
what if I was to tell you? What if I was to tell you they got their blood?
Yeah, I think I've actually heard you say that before. Yeah. That
You see, here's the power of belief, P. Mars. If you can get people to believe something, for instance, we've all heard this sort of story, right? I don't know anyone personally now, but I've heard the story, so God knows what individual it may particularly apply to, but I'm sure you can agree it's probably an all too common occurrence. The individual, short up for cash or whatever his motivation, pretends to have cancer, you know, sucks everybody in, plays the part. You can imagine it. It's a real story somewhere, and we've all heard it as well at some point, and sucks everyone in. Gathers all the cash or whatever. It might be different motivations, just a sympathy, narcissistic sort of whatever. But we know it's happened, and he sucked them in, and everyone believed it. So here's where the power lies. If everyone believes something, does it have to be true? There's power in the belief, And this is what happened on 9/11. Yes, there is, we all put ourselves in these shoes. Not one person went on a plane and probably hasn't gone on a plane since without thinking the same thoughts, You can't help but fucking think it in America. What a dastardly system. And let me just say for the record and on the record, because this is a record, right, of me speaking on the record. When I traveled to America on a holiday, my fingerprints were taken and my retinas were scanned. Now, that is unlawful, against my consent, and it's based on the back of deception. So that is null and void, and that's null and void along with uh, everything else, all other contracts that are null and void, and that's based on the legal name fraud. Null and void. You have no authority, no right, and anyone who has a claim of authority, anyone from a queen to a pope, from a pauper to a prince, let them make their claim before me. And that's where I'm standing. You talk about blood over intent. I've done the blood over intent, Pete Mars, and I'll tell you why, right? We have no longer got our signature. If I was to make a contract with you, how would I seal the deal? I don't know you, right?
You would sign your name. You would sign your name, right?
Right, okay.
Your legal name.
Here's the problem, right? I don't have a name. I can sign my name, but in terms of a legal name, you wouldn't accept anything but a legal name with you. Now, but I know I can't have a legal name because it's illegal to use a legal name. So if I use the legal name that I thought was mine all these years, but found out later that it was signed away with the creation of the birth certificate, well, that's not my fault then, is it? I was unaware. I was ignorant of the facts. Simple as that. So, but since the intent to deceive wasn't on my behalf, on my part, that's not my issue. I cannot use that legal name anymore. So I could put what else could I do? I could sign just X. I could just give you a mark and you have to take my word for it. Well, then if I renege on that, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? Oh, look, I have this agreement here and I really want to collect on it. The bastard owes me and look, we agreed on it. And you can see how that would go, P. Mars. If you're a poker player. If you win something, you want to collect it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you make a deal, you were willing to lose something, especially in a live poker game. And I've never done this. I'm not a gambler in that sense. I could be a good poker player. But yeah, you want to collect it. People have been shot for these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do you do? A man's word is his bond in that situation, isn't it? So, but are you going to take my word, or am I going to take my word? How do I know your word?
To collect the money, I have to. A person in the legal sense is a corporation. So, like my name, my legal name is a corporation. So we're all these little corporations, and then we transfer shit based on the fact we're transferring it to these fictions, which are corporations that represent real human beings.
Yeah, but you all have sufficient fund in your bank account, so that's all taken care of. There's no fisticuffs at dawn, to collect the money. It's you all have the money in your bank account to be able to gamble the way it can be taken. I assume that you can't do it otherwise. I probably can, but different rules apply then. But this is the thing. You say you use your legal name now. I haven't used a legal name in, I don't know how long. I can't put it down, but it's a good while. And I realize it's literally illegal to use the legal name. The copyright use to it was signed away with the creation of it's not your birth certificate, their birth certificate. Mm-hmm. Right? Your parents signed away the copyright use to the name, so you can't use it. Now, that's one thing in itself. People are obviously using it. And society is functioning in inverted commas, but it's all fraudulent, right? So I'm aware of this. I have a relationship with myself, with the creator. God bless her. That's a joke. But, how can God bless himself? And I guess he can. But yeah, listen. So I don't want to do this, but also I know the rest of their system and how crooked and twisted it is, and I cannot participate in that. So I'm not going to grant them any power in that sense. And I also know, in a sense, who I am or what I am, and I know I'm greater than what they tell me. So this is the thing. So I can't use that. And this is getting back to an agreement between me and you. I could give you a verbal agreement. You might be a trusting person, but you could see how that wouldn't be enough for a lot of people. You know what I mean? So what would it take? Well, what would it take? What would it take? Difficult question. I would say your blood. I would say, listen, man, I don't know you, but I'm judging you, and I'm going to take you on your honor, right? So
that sounds very demonic, doesn't it? It sounds like when you're making a deal with the devil, you'd sign your name in blood, right?
Why would what does it matter?
But Pete, we have a lot of evidence that people died. There's people in these hangouts who've known people who died, like Dave High. I talked to a girl named Maria who lives in New York, and she said she went there 2 days after the event, and she saw like severed body parts I mean, there's video evidence. Lots
Now,
of
you see,
video
this is the
evidence.
thing. Now, you won't see. You show me a picture. You get her to show me one picture. There was nothing bigger than a fucking splinter found. They had to apparently do DNA tests on splinter segments of bones. There was no body parts found. This is rubbish. This is rubbish. And this is what I'm saying, P. Mars. All this information is out there. This is such a deep topic to investigate, and there's so
I'm
many
pretty
different
sure there were
rabbit holes
body
you want.
parts found, man.
But if you're going to tell me everyone, it's just I've been through this mill before. I was in a pub one night here in town, a small fucking pub, and you have to go out for a smoke here, which is fair enough. Out for a smoke, I always come along and say the same things about, back then it used to be the 9/11, now it's a flat Earth. But I say it in a I want the people to know they've been fooled, because I know what I'm saying is true. But yeah, 5 people there. There was only about fucking 6 there. 5 of them knew someone. They knew someone who knew someone who died on 9/11. You know what the odds of that are? You really know what the odds of that are. I can't do that anymore. I can't go to you, listen, I'm going to, all you strangers, and I just happened to mention this, one event 15 years ago in a small place relatively worldwide that ye knew 5 people, then I'm after coming out to find out in my investigations and my route here that it's all a load of made up shit. It's all a televisual hoax.
Yeah, but I think...
and what am I supposed to do?
I don't think your investigations are very good because, like, look, here's a video right here. This video, if you play this, you can hear bodies. There's firemen inside the lobby, and you can hear the bodies hitting.
Okay,
like
but I'm not going to have any. I'm only relying on memory for this. If you want to present evidence, you fire away. You fire away. Now, there's a few things I could say about that. A big load of updated video evidence came out in 2009. Again, I'm going from memory. I haven't touched this in years because for me it's solved. I can even tell you how they took down the buildings. I can tell you what else.
There's no way it can be solved. It's a mystery because
it's solved.
There's like a million. There's a million different ideas how they did it.
You give me any problem you have, and I would be able to give you the answer to it, the solution.
I don't think we have an answer. We don't know. There's no way we can know. There's a conspiracy involved, and they put out all these psyops, all these theories. There was Stephen Jones, Professor Stephen Jones, who said thermate, and he cited these he cited these iron steel balls or something. These miniature steel balls found. But then this guy is tied into this whole conspiracy to suppress cold fusion as well. Stephen Jones, he came out, and it's just like they came out with all these people, all these theories of how the buildings came down, no planes. This is evidence of a psyop. They're trying to lead us down all these bullshit avenues of research. There's no reason, Pete, to claim no one died because there's enough conspiracies, like the plan for the new American century, documents they put out, and you could be getting that information out and you'd be making more of a difference.
Why did you get to hear that, P. Mars? Why? Will you use your brain for a second, please, and tell me why did you get to hear their most intricate and secretive plans long before the event? That never occurred to you. Do you not know we're dealing with Machiavelli? You know about Machiavelli.
I know they write down in documents and tell us what they're going to do to us before they do it, and they
why was Operation Northwoods documentation released? And Jeremy had a problem with this, and he looked it up, and he sort of half agreed with me. It was released on the internet. It was mentioned somewhere else, I think, but it was released for general perusal in May of 2001. That's 5 or 6 months before. It's probably a certain number set dates before 9/11. I'm just not even bothered with that stuff anymore. 9/11 itself. When I say 9/11, I mean 9/11 2001 in New York. 9/11 is different.
Northwoods, they basically outlined a military plan that was a little bit different, but somewhat. It involved hijacking planes at least, and it involved Cuba, blaming it on Castro. So yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, I mean they flat out. I think they just completely disrespect our ability to rise against their control system they have in place. Or they're so cocky. But they've been doing this for years. Like, in fact, if you listen to Alan Watt on Cutting Through the Matrix, he says that if you go into the books in the 1800s and 1700s, they're even more open, talking about how they enslave us and how to rule us, because people were illiterate more back then, right? So they would write these books openly talking about how they rule us and control us, and they wouldn't think that anyone's going to go read them. Or like,
let me just say one thing first of all to get it clear. It's a tangerine, it's not an orange, and I'm not doing the 666 sign because I just saw I was just showing to the camera. I was about to eat a tangerine. And clear up any questions or doubts. I am not a Mason. I'm not affiliated to anything or anybody, P. Mars. That's a simple fact. That's all. And if the Freemasons were so good, cancer would be fucking raging. And all of these scams and all of these deceptions wouldn't be, rampant. It's just in every level. If you can't, P. Mars, if you can't find a deception in one place, you'll find one quickly in another place at such a massive level that it sort of belies belief. And we're getting off the point. You see, I still don't know where you stand. So this is the basis of, where I stand. You can get into, let me ask you a simple question then. Do you believe the official story of 9/11?
No. In fact, I woke up because I thought, like, they would say stupid shit in our media. Like, they would say, we were attacked because Osama bin Laden hates our freedom. Like, that makes no sense, right? And then they would say, well, he attacked us because he doesn't want our military in Islamic and Muslim countries. Well, if he attacks us on 9/11 in the manner he did, he's giving our military justification to increase their presence in Muslim and Islamic countries. So his strategy is bad. His strategy is helping these neocons who were in power at the time, who have always had this agenda of going to Iraq, because in my opinion it's Babylon, and they're seeking past relics in the museums and shit like that, because they believe the ancients had better technology than we do, and they're searching for it. That's what I think's going on. And I mean, Saddam...
You're not telling me your position.
Oh, shit. I don't believe the official story. I think it was a conspiracy, but I just think the conspiracy goes too far when you start to say things like...
So how many do you think died? How many do you think, okay, this basic question, you think 4 planes crashed in 9/11?
I do think 4 planes crashed. I know the Pentagon one is debated because of the video evidence is really shaky, but there was plane wreckage on the field of the Pentagon, and I don't.
That Donald Rumsfeld. That Donald Rumsfeld one that had to pick up. Oh yeah, that was traced back to a flight that crashed in some South American jungle somewhere, and there was also pristine, and there's so many problems with that. I mean, this is P. Mars. I thought you were going to offer up a sort of little bit more because this is sort of pretty big.
Well, I mean, I know, like the side of the building the Pentagon hit, there was no one there because it was closed for reconstruction. That's kind of shady. I know people think a missile hit the Pentagon. I don't see why they would do that. Like, I think it was remote control planes. I don't know. I think
fair enough.
I think it's like you've seen the Lone Ranger pilot episode where they show the remote.
Yeah, they just happened to show you that, of course. Yeah.
I think that went down. I think it went down like in that episode how they depict it there. Like they used.
Let me just briefly, for anyone who isn't aware, you should all be aware of this stuff. Every flat earther should be aware of this stuff, people. And if you're not, well, then you might be late to the conspiracy thinking. But lots of people have been through lots of this before. Everything's been covered before. Tons of writing. You said you don't go to forums. Well, no. Man, what do? You go to books. You go to books getting published in the mainstream for your information. No, you don't. You apply the information gathered by others. Maybe you help doing the research yourself, but then you sort of mull everything over in your own brain and come out with your own coherent picture. And if you can answer any of my questions and I can answer none of your questions, then your synopsis or your point of view has to be declared, at least temporarily, more valid until something comes along. There's always the potential for something to come along and absolutely knock either my or your theorizing out clear out of the water. And I can do that easily with you. I absolutely can do it very easily with you. And as I said to you beforehand, I don't want to embarrass you. But that's fine. We can even not even dwell too long on 9/11. But for me, these are basic things, and when you're talking about the number of anomalies associated, you talked about the Pentagon, and I'm going from memory for a lot of this. Pentagon plane crash, inverted commas. First of all, an impossible maneuver. You're talking about potentially remote control, which is fair enough, but still a pretty impossible maneuver for a fully loaded 747 or whatever. Even if are you saying there was people on these 747s that were knocked by gas and?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say. Like, I'm just thinking, the easiest way to do it for them would be to use real planes that were controlled by like remotely, by a computer.
That would be the hardest thing for them to do.
I think that'd be the easiest way to do it.
Why make it hard, man? If you imagine a magic trick, you have that whole area locked down anyway. Now you could have something for show, but you needn't necessarily have it. All the Pentagon, all the footage surrounding the Pentagon, no footage has been released. That's just encouraged conspiracy in itself, and get you going down rabbit holes.
Well, they released a video with like hardly any frames, and it doesn't really show anything.
Listen, if I was spoofing you, right? If I was spoofing you, and it was a big spoof, and I wanted to spoof you comprehensively, but I didn't know exactly how smart you were, and I had to be able to figure out. I would say, and imagine the whole thing was a spoof. It was a trick, it was a confidence trick. Well, I would send you exactly down all of these different alleyways and all of these dead ends, all of these red herrings to get you off the track. That might keep you away forever even, or for years, or who knows how long. At least by doing that, I have some chance of avoiding and evading
right.
Your anger, I guess, because I'm the one who's doing the conning here, you see. That this is only a means to my end, whatever I plan to do after this, you know what I mean? And this is what's done with all of this stuff. The first victim on 9/11 was Father Michael Judge. I dare anyone, I dare you right there, P. Mars. Actually, you can do this. I'm not, as I said, I won't be using any aids, and if you're on the computer, that's grand. If you Google Father Michael Judge 9/11 victim and bring up pictures.
Okay.
Number one, Father Michael. Father, first of all, a priest, eh? Then Michael Judge.
Yeah,
Michael
he looks
Judge,
like a firefighter.
Just Father Michael Judge, a 9/11 victim.
I'm getting images of a firefighter, an older man.
There's a guy. Yeah, there's a guy in a chair.
Let me see here.
Yeah, bring it up.
I'll show you.
I mean,
Okay.
this is.
You see this?
Yeah, there you go. Click on the first one.
First one? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. He's in a chair.
Here you go. That's it. It might take you a while to sort of get your bearings on the picture.
Okay, this is a little bit graphic.
Again, this has all been done years ago, and photo analysis have gone into all of these photos. These are all photoshopped as well, to one degree or another. But look at the scene itself. Can anyone say, I don't know, movie? Remember now, this is six. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 men. Men around this priest. It has to be 7, really, doesn't it? And this priest looks like he's asleep in the chair, or maybe he's acting. He could be acting. Isn't that a potential, isn't it? Look at the rest of them all standing around, talcum powdered up. This could be a scene from a movie for all the world, couldn't it, P. Mars? Now, how are you going to ascertain it's not a scene from a movie? So we have a Father Michael Judge brought out on the altar for a sacrifice, maybe. Do you think so? Maybe ritualistic? Like the rituals. This goes back to belief earlier on. If I believe that this is true, and millions believe that this is true, and millions believe that the overall thing is true, does that take away the power of it, the emotion of it? Look at what they were able to accomplish based on that belief. Now, ritualistic sense, there always has to be some blood. There's blood up on top of the Georgia Guidestones, which are in the form of an X when you're looking down in it. for some reason. Hey, go figure. SpaceX, yeah, good one. The X Factor, Triple X. Look into it. So yeah, there has to be a blood sacrifice. Now, do you remember after 9/11 there was a massive blood call? It was people come in and donate blood. We need it, and they must have gathered millions of gallons, at least, because everyone was back to patriot days, and was more than willing to open up their arms. Take it all, take it all, take it all. But come on. I mean, that's not taken away from the people. We were all tricked. This is where I'm coming from as well. It's not my intention to fool anyone. If I seem a bit glib about this, I've been dealing with all this stuff for years, man. And I look at pictures now like that. Look at them. This is not funny anymore. This is supposed to be after. Where did the rubble come from? He was supposed to be on the lower grounds. So where would the rubble come from? Then they introduced the rabbit hole about the bombs in the basement. So this is all associated with that. But why is 7 people focusing on one victim? If there's tens of victims, if not hundreds. I mean, imagine yourself in that situation, P. Mars. You said you talked about everyone imagining being involved. And what would you do as a potential jumper? If you fires all around you, we've all been there. Well, it's a fucking deadly choice to make. But these people, at 7 of them, one person would take one. 2 people at the maximum would take one, and then the rest would be in to try and help others. There would be loads of injuries. It would be loads of. He's supposed to be dead there, by the way. There'd be loads of injuries. There'd be loads of wounds to heal, to tend. There'd be pandemonium, mayhem, but yet you have 7 of the city's finest. Now, if you go back to the first picture, P. Mars, excuse me, yeah, this guy this is just coming to me now. This guy on the left, right? He does an interview. It's in your face. It's on YouTube as well. I don't know how you'd search term it again. I can provide all these links. I can back up everything I've been saying if I was bothered to even go through it again and find all the links. But there's an interview with him. I'm sure it's him and 3 of his, 3 of his fellow officials. He's the captain, I think, in the police department. And of course, the captain has to be pictured with the judge, ship's captain and all that. But yeah, they're on an interview a few hours later. They're all pristine clean shaven, no sweat, no nothing, all looking, and they're talking about how they pulled people out of the rubble and how it just all came down everywhere that morning. It's hilarious. When I look at these stories now, this is all about the symbolism to me, or it was anyway.
Well, I know, like the Pentagon, they had the Cornerstone Lane ceremony on 9/11, and the first building to collapse from when it started construction to when it collapsed, it was 33 years. We had Flight 11 that hit the 93rd tower, and if you look into 93, that's Aleister Crowley's cult, the Lima. So that's why I think it was a magic spell. But here's the thing. Here's my issue with what you're saying here, and I mean,
let me just
finish
this by saying about the blood, because this is what I brought you this picture up for as well. Of course, the priest holds up the chalice. This is to turn the water into wine, but they provided the blood for the ritual by this blood collection drive, and everyone donated. There they have the blood. Now, what they did with it after that, maybe they dumped it. Maybe you can't use it as a part and parcel of the spell, overall spell. Maybe you do use it. Maybe you curse it. Who knows? Maybe you put bad luck in it and then give it out to be used around. Maybe you fucking drink it. Who knows, man? Who knows what we're dealing with here? But the point is that the ritual was completed by this. It's all symbolic, you see. You don't have to kill 3,000 people if you don't need to. And they also don't kill their own. Their own populated, apparently, those buildings, whereas in reality, those buildings were emptied. There was no floors in them, and they came down like an elevator into the ground, like you see one of those bollards that when you're driving down the main street at certain times it comes up out of the ground and it stops your car from going through. That's what happened, in my view, with the Twin Towers, how they came down. It explains no rubble, and it explains pretty much everything, probably filled with a lot of dust bags or whatever, just to give the effect, because the whole area was under dust and all this. And needless to say, these scenes didn't necessarily need it to be filmed. They don't leave anything to chance, so they wouldn't be filmed live. This might have been done Who knows? How long beforehand, you know. But anyway, that's a great. See, it's such a greater story. But there's the completion of the ritual with the blood. It's another
Okay.
blood sacrifice. People willingly gave up their blood, so it's a sacrifice in that sense. But it's not coming from the place you think it's coming from. So you can ask your question now, P. Mars.
Well, see, I think this is just an example. Like, what you're saying is possible, but I don't see the point in really talking about it because there's so much easier things to prove, and this is like gonna make people think you're crazy. Like, I realize you believe you have a lot of evidence and you can back all this stuff up, but I just really think it's a really unreasonable idea to think that is how it went down.
Do you think the Boston bombings were hoaxed, P. Mars? And I have never spoken to you one-on-one before. Do you think the Boston bombings were hoaxed? I know. I
haven't done a lot of research. I haven't done a lot of research on that. I think I've seen some evidence of crisis actors being used at like Sandy Hook and the Boston bombing, and that's pretty suspicious. But just like 9/11 though, they brought down 2 fucking massive buildings. Like, I'm pretty sure it really happened, and they really killed people. These people have no issue killing people, and they purposely put all these crazy ideas out. Maybe this whole like no one died is a crazy idea to discredit the real conspiracy of 9/11. And let me give you an example of something, right? Here, this video. This was to prove that these planes were CGI.
Tower. I know about this.
Yeah,
I know the guy.
He shows he says that this building is in the background, and this is showing like the plane's wing shouldn't look like that. But you can go on Google Maps and see that's incorrect.
Okay. I understand that argument. I'll ask you a question about this. Have you ever held a camera and filmed anything, P. Mars?
I mean, no, but I know that what this guy said in this video is a lie. So these guys are...
He's not me, and he's admitted he's error, hasn't he?
He's admitted to this being an error?
Yes, he has, yeah.
Okay, well, that's good, but...
When I say I know him, I don't like him really. I think he's Marcus Allen is his name, but that video has millions of views, and lots of people have seen that.
This has 1 million views. Like, I think I probably shared this with someone and, like, believed it, right? And then if they go and do research... This is part of what the PSYOP is doing. So now anyone I've shared this with does research, find out that this is bullshit, and they were tricked by an optical illusion.
Put that full screen again. Put that full screen again.
Right.
We're all capable of making mistakes.
Right.
One thing that's for sure, whatever his motivations are, that's the way it appears on first glance. Would you agree?
I agree. Like, it tricked me, so maybe it tricked him. You're right, but
right. Well,
if you're gonna put out, yeah, but man, when you're putting out video, we're talking.
Please don't do this now and put someone else's thoughts into my mouth, because there's 1,000,001 different points of view on 9/11. There's 1,000,001 different errors you could show, but just go back to that screen a second, please.
Okay.
So don't assume my point of view, and I understand and I know about that clip, and it does seem that he was wrong, but that's fine. That's not the only problem here, though. Of course, this is CGI, right? And what you're saying may be correct, and probably is correct, and it can be provably so. But have you ever taken a photograph of something? Have you ever video cameraed something? I would say sure you have, right? Now, have you ever video cameraed or tried to follow something at a quick speed at a close distance? It's very difficult, isn't it? So it's very difficult to get a hold. Have you ever tried to video something at such a close distance at an incredible speed of 500 odd miles an hour? No, you haven't. But you can imagine that it would be very difficult. In the blink of an eye, it would be over at such close distances, right? Now, if you want to press play, look at how steady and still everything is, P. Mars.
Yeah, I know.
You think they're not capable of doing this in the movie? Look at this.
Well, this is frozen right now.
The building is actually moving into the plane. It's and just look at how fake ass that looks. You're a video gamer. Come on. That's why none of the children will be fooled anymore. The children will blow us out of the water. How clueless we were and how fucking stupid we were for believing this shit. And
see,
people talk about
I can't really have an opinion on that because I I don't know what it's supposed to look like to fly a plane into the World Trade Center, so it's like hard for me to say that it looks fake. Like I don't know what it's supposed to fucking look like, and there's no way you can like.
I can say it looks fake because I've satisfied myself so many times that all of the footage given to us is contradictory and can be proven conclusively to be fake and show physical impossibilities. When something shows physical impossibilities, you have to entertain the possibility that you're dealing with media fakery. You remember media fakery, P. Mars, that they used on the moon landing,
Right.
which Jeremy so vehemently defends again and again and again when he is again and again and again easily blown out of the water. It doesn't stand to reason that you wouldn't encompass these faculties, this knowledge of media fakery and how things have been faked, and you don't entertain it as a possibility when it comes to looking at fake ass stuff.
I think it's possible, but I don't see why they would fake this. It seems more plausible to use real things. We've had that chatter, Wendy. She's a flat earther, right? And she said she heard the plane, saw the plane hit, saw like papers and smoke in the air, had to go to therapy. And you were kind of badgering her in the chat and being rude to her, but she's on your team. She's like a flat earther. Like,
well, if you want me to meet that point, everyone knows my point of view about 9/11. I've been saying it since Ed's days, and you know it, P. Mars. You know I've been saying the same stuff, and different things are going on with Peter Vincent's channel, excellent channel by the way, and he does very right not to leave any shits in. Not present company accepted for the minute, P. Mars. I'll decide later on. No, I'm only kidding. But listen, yeah, it's a flat Earth only channel, and that's the only way forward from here because there's no point in trying to listen to these old debates again when you can't answer a simple, basic question about showing curvature regarding a flat Earth or showing any signs of movement. You're blown out of the water since then, and unless you can do that, then your whole foundation for everything that comes afterwards is non-existent. It's not even on shaky ground, it's just non-existent. So that's anyway a different thing, and Pete has gone beyond that, as Vincent is as well, as most of the people over there are. But there was a history, we all have a history. When Fed was in trouble, remember that Fed's channel closed down and Debate's channel was still up, and there was a few channels coming and going. Pete went off to, Pete was always a flat earther, as I was, as Matthew was, and certain spurs, there's always a core. You were, I thought, P. Mars, but anyway, yeah. So a certain break off, Pete went to Free Chan, that had its own developments then, and own interaction I didn't know much about, never went there. Pete came back, I went over. I don't have any affiliations to anyone. I can talk to anyone I like, but yeah, there's a history there, and I'm not sure about it. But everyone certainly knew my point of view on 9/11 who had heard me talk or whatever. But Wendy didn't seem to. She comes along and she tells me, and hi Wendy, I'm, as I said, what am I? I'm in a difficult situation here, but that's fine. Wendy tells me she not only did she witness the Shanksville plane going down, and you heard the talk, but and this was written in chat, by the way. And she comes out of the blue and says this. Well, I the Shanksville plane going down, and I lost three relatives of mine elsewhere on 9/11 because of 9/11. And I was going, well, gosh, that hit me out of the blue, you know, especially knowing everything I've come to know. And there's many different ways they can fake victims as well. You think about it, they know it. That's where Operation Northwoods comes in. And again, it's not a coincidence that it came out. They're telling you that they're hoping you. Operation Northwoods, stage a plane crash, fake the victims, fake the funerals, to get your agenda on the road then, you know. This is what they told you. So they told you beforehand. They told you in the movie so many times. They told you in so many different songs. They told you in so many different outlets. If you're not paying attention, that's too bad.
But then you think like the victims for 9/11 truth people are fake then? Like a controlled opposition?
Absolutely, man. But no one puts out a film like Loose Change like that.
Well, I think Loose Change is a controlled opposition, but I've met
Mars.
Yeah.
Do you think two kids can put out a movie like Loose
No, I
Change?
think that is controlled opposition for sure. But I've met people in these hangouts. I have a cousin who was there who like biked downtown and helped people who were hurt. Like It really fucking happened, dude. I'm here in America. I know people that like New York's a big fucking city, dude. Like that's why you meet lots of people who know people who died. Like a fuckload of people died and were affected by this attack.
So let me ask you then. You're not being upfront here. So after I said all of this, now there's tons and tons of research there. You think that little clip that shows you that fucking cartoon crashing into the building where there's a hole, right? And the plane goes in and there's no hole. So the hole comes after the plane goes in. It's ridiculous. If you think that wing, do you know the structure of that building? Do you know what happens when you, let me ask you a question, P. Mars. Let me ask you a question. What do you imagine would happen if you shot a gun, right, at the fuselage of a plane? What do you imagine would happen?
I have no idea, man.
Have you ever
if I play Grand Theft Auto, it's supposed to explode, right?
Have you ever seen the little clips of birds flying into the fuselage by accident? It leaves a big hole, doesn't it? Right? Now you get that bird at the same speed and you fuck it into an iron I-beam. What do you think is going to happen? The bird is going to go splat, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we're asked to believe that the bird that can beat the plane, right? But the plane can beat the fucking iron, but the iron beats the bird. This is ridiculous, you know? And you're not thinking about it. That's a fucking big grate. There was steel I-beams all the way up every fucking meter. Every meter of every floor, and every piece of steel above had to be able to take the weight of every piece of steel below. That means that on the first floor, on the ground, it had to be able to take the weight of 110 floors below it. And not only that, right?
We agree on that.
They encompass the factor of safety of 20, which is a necessary part of the engineering of it, a safety factor for it, right? So everything is impossible regarding the physics, and it's clear you haven't looked into this, man.
No, I have. I know the plane. No, I have, because I know what you're talking about. The planes are made of aluminum, and that when they hit the structural steel, they should crumple like a tin can.
Right. So when you combine that,
but I'm not a fucking physicist. Like I'm not an expert on this topic.
So when you combine that fact, right, or that piece of knowledge you have there, with the fake footage there, the still and professional-looking footage, not an ounce of movement in it. When you combine these two things and you bear media fakery in mind, and we're looking at impossible things, will it not occur to you that we're possibly dealing with a movie here? No. You see, if that doesn't possibly occur to you and take you down a different pathway, then I can't be here, man. And we better move on to something else, because 9/11 is such a massive topic. And that's why I try to cut through the chase, and everything I say about the topic is going to be controversial. You're just going to say, I can't believe it. That's what you're going to say. And it's not the way I want to spend my Friday evenings, to be honest.
I would say like you want to wake people up. Like, you spend a lot of time in Earth discussions trying to convince them the Earth is flat, right? You want to change people's minds. You're not going to change their minds by saying no one died and the planes are CGI, because that's ridiculous.
I don't go there anymore, P. Mars.
Okay. Well, that's my point. I think that's why I don't even think.
Don't go there, man. The only place I go now is to Pancho Pete's channel.
Okay.
And you asked about Wendy, and listen, I said everyone can be fooled. If Wendy is genuine. They would have put on some sort of show, right? This is what the magic show is about. We were presented with a 102-minute movie that was pre-prepared. So they would have had, let me say this. They would have had, it's a magic show. So what happened in reality I would imagine, I wasn't there, match up closely with what we saw on television, but it would still be a magic show. The buildings were emptied over the years, especially since the 1990 street bombing, and it was all set up. 9/11 was set up for fucking years. You had thousands of people involved, and thousands of people do not participate in a mass murder. It is against universal law to murder. Now, if I can fool you, P. Mars, to pick up a gun and go and murder a stranger, that's on you, it's not on me. In that sense, I think it's something like that work, but they won't directly do it, and they won't murder their own. All the rich millionaire executives in the Twin Towers, get the hell out of here. They don't do that, man. Symbolic. Again.
See, when I watch these videos that say the planes are CGI, and then you find mistakes, like I pointed out to you, it makes me feel like I'm being fooled. Like, it's easy to fool me, because now that I've realized that conspiracy is real and 9/11, the official story, is a lie, then now anything could be a lie, and all of a sudden I could just believe anything. And now, Alex Jones is Bill Hicks, and this person's not a woman, they're a man, and now, no one died on 9/11. Like, why focus on these crazy, nutty, like, things when there's real conspiracies that are documented, that have evidence, that you can
Alex Jones,
argue?
Hang on, man. You're in this for truth, right? Hang on. Alex Jones is Bill Hicks, right?
No, they're totally different people. That's insane. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Right,
That's
fine.
insane.
Right,
and then you
fine.
lose all credibility when you say stuff like that, in my opinion.
That's fine. Again, remember I started off with this. Everything is just my own particular point of view and what I come to. I would say no at the minute. I understand the difficulties there. Again, they lace these things with difficulties, right? But you cannot deny the teeth pattern. When someone has a few matching patterns within their facial structures, then as the number increases, the probabilities also increases drastically, right? But the teeth are the giveaway. That's why Osama playing the role of Obama. I don't give a fuck how fucking crazy it sounds. What the fuck do you know about Obama? What the fuck do you know about anybody? So, but when this scientific facts
because I did the
arise,
research,
like
because
it was scientifically proven. Like it was scientifically proven because of the shadows on the moon and the distances to the mountains that it was impossible. The distances given were accurate. So moon landing hoax, scientifically proven, but you won't accept anything. You're just, well, you're going to send me down the rabbit hole. I have to believe that no one died in Boston bombing. They're crazy. They like killing people. It's much easier for them to kill people and get hundreds of people involved in killing people. That's so easy to do. Well, get the hell out of here, P-Mars.
that happens all the time. People die all the time. There's war going on every day. There's like bombs being dropped on children and fucking crazy shit in this
Where's
world.
that? Where's that, P-Mars? Where have you personal experience?
Oh my god, dude. And Bill Hicks
Where's
is
that
not
from?
Alex. I was a huge fan of Bill Hicks and Alex Jones both. There's childhood pictures of both of them. They look completely different. The only reason this is conspiracy
Alex,
spawn.
excuse me, man. You don't know what don't tell me anything because you don't know my position. There was a different Alex Jones, right?
Oh,
There was
he
a
got
different one.
switched.
Right. So what do you?
switched.
This is crazy stuff, like, because what are you saying? You've been years into conspiracy. You said you've lost family and friends and all this, and what? This is the level that you say, oh, he's been switched as if it's an impossibility or such a highly improbable sort of, fucking piece of weaponry in this manipulation arsenal. That you're crazy to mention it. That's stupid stuff, man. That's like someone who you pick up or who you just ask some random question, a random stranger off the street and ask them these type of questions who've never considered it before. Come on, man. This is ridiculous.
Dude, saying two people that look completely different and sound completely different are the same person is crazy. Why would you say that? And the only reason this conspiracy took hold is because they both had the same producer, this guy named Kevin Booth. But they're both from Austin, Texas. And they're both involved in producing, media shit. So it's not unreasonable. The whole conspiracy is founded on bullshit. Just if you on real surface level research.
Bill Hicks is a character himself. Bill Hicks isn't a man like you are, P-Mar, whatever your name is, Patrick Martian. I mean, whatever, he's a character himself. You don't know who this guy is. I mean, if I was to say stuff like, which I know for certain to be true, JFK hoax assassination, Princess Diana hoax death, I know for certain to be true. Oklahoma hoax, Waco, Texas hoax, Manson murders hoax. If I was to say all that sort of stuff, do you think I won't be labeled a fucking raving lunatic immediately? I don't give a fuck though, because I know it's true.
But I do.
I know it's true on the basis. O.J. Simpson a hoax, David Bowie's death a hoax, Prince's death a hoax.
A lot of these conspiracies are bullshit, like this Alex Jones, Bill Hicks ones. I did a podcast exposing Alex Jones. I didn't have to tell people he's Bill Hicks to expose them because there's real shit. His grandfather.
You don't think there's any possibility?
Alex Jones's grandfather started a Masonic lodge in Texas. You could mention that. Alex Jones has connections to the Council of National Policy. You could mention that. He gets all these guests like Pat Buchanan and Charlie Sheen with Jesuit connections. You can mention that. But no, they want to say he's Bill Hicks because it's bullshit and it'll discredit any real person like me trying to expose Alex Jones for what he is. So you're doing nothing but hurt people who are trying to actually talk real truth. You're discrediting real truthers, dude.
To expose, that's your raison d'etre, to expose Alex Jones. Because Alex Jones won't mention the flat Earth. Everyone worth their salt who's been through this.
The Earth isn't flat, though. You guys don't have any evidence it's flat.
Everyone worth their salt knows Alex Jones is a sellout.
Yes.
He's waiting for you at the conspiracy door. Right?
That's why you don't have to say he's Bill Hicks. That's what I'm saying.
Irrelevant.
You don't have to say the Earth is flat. You don't have to say no one died on 9/11. You can talk simple things with evidence.
Put arguments into my mouth as well. That's my particular stance on this thing, right? You can say what you like. You have your own stance. It's irrelevant if Alex Jones is Bill Hicks. They're both actors anyway, right? It's irrelevant. Right. We know Alex Jones is a gatekeeper, and we know he is.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, I agree with you on that.
How is what I never mentioned Bill Hicks. If that's true, if it's not true, it's irrelevant to have the same. What about Kevin Booth being a friend of theirs? What about the similarities over the years? What about the surgeries Alex Jones is shown to have had?
I mean, if you want to go there, then it's like everyone could be everyone else. You know.
How do you get the same teeth as someone else, P. Mars?
They don't have the same teeth.
Type into Google Alex Jones, same teeth as Bill Cooper, or not Bill, Bill Cooper. That's another.
Alex Jones is Bill Cooper, and he exposed himself and then faked his death.
Type in Bill.
Yeah, I got it.
Alex Jones, same teeth. Bill Crosby, not Bill Crosby.
I got it. Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks.
So,
Can coffee.
That was I drink really shitty coffee.
It's hot coffee, spoon of honey, ideally. So two spoons of organic or virgin coconut oil, and a nice sprinkle, whatever you don't fancy. You don't have to put too much. Nice sprinkle of Mother Nature's own panacea itself, cannabis, and not marijuana. Marijuana is a legal term. It's cannabis, right? And sprinkle in, nice little stir. There you go.
To identify people by teeth, you need their dental records. Like this isn't good enough.
Yes. Bring up the best evidence.
They're different teeth, dude.
Yeah, but he had his teeth changed. But bring up the best evidence of teeth.
See what I mean? Like they have different teeth, but then you say they were changed, so it's like.
Hang on, man. There's videos there. There's video. I'm not talking about pictures. There's videos there. I don't know what pictures you're picking out here. Come on.
I'm just looking for. You want a video of this?
Bill Hicks looks different there, doesn't he? This is what actors do, man. This is what actors do.
They look different, dude.
Not that I'm an actor. I did like a class of, you do it in secondary school, drama, speech and drama, where we learn to, not too much drama, just a bit of singing, to just reciting poetry, 30 children sitting around, whatever. But I would have liked to have, not now anymore, because I know how fucking devious it all is, but I would have liked to have. But yeah, I can speak like that, Jed. I could have a good conversation with Jed like that, We could talk about fried Mars bars and rubber chickens. I said to Jed, when he fights with Poncho Pete, he takes a rubber chicken to a gunfight. That's not a good idea, P. Mars. What you gonna do? You're gonna throw the rubber chicken at the bullet? Maybe it's a magic rubber chicken, and the chicken beats the bullet. Who knows? Anything goes in Scotland. Not right, Jed. So I could do that, but what's the, for the drama, that's acting like, that's, in other words, it's what Tim Osmond does. He acts his part. It's what Jeremy does. He acts his part. It's what Quartus does. It's what you do. I get the feeling it's what Jay does. It's what
well, I know for Poncho never gave me a chance. He always thought I was someone else, ship to ship, on a different sock account, which is bullshit, and he never gave me a chance, and he was always rude and mean to me. So, and he's a dick.
I don't know. I think it's just once. He doesn't see. The thing is about the basics.
It's like a cult, though, man, because he won't let anyone. He says he's about truth and for the children, but he doesn't let anyone give an opinion that's not his opinion, even if they're a
And he
flat
is
earther.
absolutely about the truth, and he's absolutely about the
No,
children,
he's
and he's
fake.
a very most honourable man, P. Mars. And I won't have anything bad said about Puncher Pete or Vincent or a lot of
They do
people who
bad
do
things to
go over there.
people, and then they don't take responsibility for their actions.
No, it's like a pub, right? If you have a pub, right, and there's a group, if you came into a group, must you sit in the corner? No, you mustn't, man. This is or like school. Think about it like school in a sense. You know, must you be a part of this group over here? No, you mustn't. And especially if you're setting up your own group and you don't want a certain type in. That's absolutely perfectly reasonable to me. If you don't like it, just go away somewhere else.
I agree with you, but their
That's all.
behavior is like unacceptable, and they don't take responsibility for it. And if you
Don't
have
see what's
integrity, I
unacceptable.
think you should call them out, in my opinion.
I see hoaxing people as being unacceptable. Beyond that, I see children dying needlessly worldwide being unacceptable. I see the cancer hoax has been unacceptable. I see the globe lie has been unacceptable. I see the legal name fraud has been unacceptable. I see the fucking enslavement of mankind, men, women, and children from the cradle to the grave has been unacceptable. I see the whole of our existence based on.
But how are you gonna fix it by being immature? Because Pete is acting immature. Part of waking up is being a good person and treating people with respect, and he does not do that. He calls them cunts and kicks them off his show. So he's no example to anyone of anything, of a truther or someone seeking the truth. Therefore, he seems like a fraud to people, to anyone, to reasonable people. But I think you are a foolish person who is easily fooled, and you'll believe any conspiracy without doing research, like no one died on 9/11. And if you have any integrity and you're a real truther, you would stand up to people like Poncho Pete and tell them that it's not right the way they treat other people. Even they're mean to flat earthers, like the way they treated Jibby was really shitty. You know, it's insane. The way they treated Matthew was shitty. Matthew didn't think Stonehenge was fake, and he got treated poorly off that. And Stonehenge isn't fake. That's bullshit. To say that Stonehenge was created in 1954, that's stupid, dude.
But hang on. Hang on. We've all been wrong many times, and we'll all be wrong again. And we've all been right many times. It takes a man to apologize. It takes a man to realize when he has been wrong. I think what happened with Matthew was a misunderstanding on Pete's behalf, but I can also understand Pete and his attitude. He wants to keep it. He's been through the mill. He's been through a learning curve. Remember, pretty much anyone goes into flat Earth, P. Mars, on some fundamental level, your life changes, you know, and it will gradually grow into a more sort of macro level, you know, and it will encompass everything. But this is a reality, and this is not to be taken lightly, because after all, it's the most serious thing only ever. But I don't give a fuck for you coming along saying, oh, he sort of offended that guy then, and he did that then. Regarding Matthew is my friend. Matthew is a good man, and
Yeah, I like
tried
Matthew.
to bridge the barrier there. Matthew didn't give a shit about the argument, in a sense.
I know. He was more mad about his spanner, which is funny. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Matthew was fit to get on a bus. I said this to Pete. He was fit to get on a bus, Pete, and go up to where you are and sit down on a couch, smoke a joint, and have a real conversation and clarify any positions of any doubt. And Matthew is a very honourable man, in my view, and he's my friend. And Pete, I view exactly the same. And they're friends in terms I've never met them, never shook their hand. So it's sort of this virtual relationship, if you will, in a sense. But yes, they are my friends, and I do trust them, and I do think they are honourable men. And we're all prone to being wrong. And I've said it to Pete. We're all prone to, misjudging. We're all prone to error, but we can also be big enough to apologize when we are wrong, and we won't have any problem with that. And Matthew loves his wrenches. He admits he has OCD, but he's just a genius. Matthew is a genius, and he's OCD, but he likes collecting wrenches. Never uses them, just for the sake of them, you know. So when Pete took his wrench, and these are Matthew's words, I would have rather he fucked my wife. Crazy stuff.
It is crazy. Matthew's a pretty crazy guy. He's a funny guy. I like him though.
I would rather he forked my wife than my spanner.
That's funny as fuck.
He went on a big rant on Ed's, and it was passionate and heartfelt. And I felt bad for Matt because I know he was wronged. Because Matt comes from the point of view that I can gather that everything is open. We're all open to persuasion. Pete has had his channel going for 40 days. You're welcome to go in there, P. Mars, and provide some proof that the basic premise of your whole fucking universe has some solid ground to stand on, and that is that if we live in a ball, then you have to show curvature. Curvature would have to be visible by some easily means at this stage, or that you have to show movement of the ground, the terra that you're on, you know. And the door's been opened. You could always propose, right, I'm willing to put my best foot forward and present the best evidence that all of these giants of science, that's a good one, isn't it? Giants of science. Say hello to Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson, the giants of science. And it turns out none of them are even fucking scientists at all. They're actors, man. They're actors. But I think there's a different game going on, and I could talk about that, but that's going into a different level. But yeah, Pete's absolutely free to be as passionate and cold as the dawn. That is his own prerogative. If he is mistaken, it's up to him to learn it. If I feel he has, misjudged or wronged, I will say it if I think it's my business. Otherwise, I won't. I can always have the option not to go there or to stay away. But yeah, generally, if I do have a problem, I will say it, and it might lead to trouble. But that's so what.
I know.
So that's all. He's perfectly entitled to it. You hang around with Tim Osman, for God's sake, P. Mars. You hang around with Jeremy, for God's sake. What the hell? You hang around with all of these shady characters, and they're all shady characters. Make no bones about it.
Yeah, but
come on. They spend years after months after weeks, on going through the same thing. No. Let me explain to you how things really work. What you're saying is absolutely incorrect, and your sophistic, style of argumentation is erroneous, and all this sort of rubbish.
If I were to just
Jeremy has the patience of Jove to keep going over and again the same attempted proofs. So again, there's a bigger story here. You don't need to be a fucking genius to figure out there's something else going on.
If I just stayed in Poncho Chan and I didn't go and listen to the other side, what they say, then I would still be a flat earther. So I learn more.
Well, more fool you then for good. This is bigger than any giant tree, P. Mars. This is bigger than it. This is not about anyone else. This is about you, man. Get the hell. This is about you making sense of your life. And if you're not met with a welcome in a certain place because of certain, personalities even, or points of view, that's fair enough. You have to move on with that. Even if you feel wronged, if you can't get any satisfaction, then you just have to move on. You have to move to a different table within the public house. But this is your puzzle. This is your game of life to figure out. So don't let anyone bring you down like that.
Yeah, that's why I just want to do my I want to do my own thing and talk about other topics, but it seems like people want to talk about flat earth, and when I host a hangout, I end up getting people talking about flat earth a lot usually. So, I don't know.
That's going to be the only topic from here on in. Well, I'll expand on that, man. What I've said over at Pete's Chan is that, listen, flat earth isn't the end, it's just the beginning. Where I've gone now in my own thinking is not far beyond that. I accept the earth is flat, especially in a local sense. Now, I entertained the honeycomb earth idea, but I have said that from this point on, pretty much everything is going to be speculative in nature. There's no proving anything to any one person, and we're in this new realm, if you will. We're in the sort of opposite of the old system, the old truth, in inverted commas. And needs must you go into speculation. And again, I can't prove that there's giant trees. There was giant trees. I know it. I know there was, though. And I can't prove it, though. I can't prove that.
That's what I'm saying, man. You just believe anything without proof.
I can't prove that the North Pole Center is where it's at. Paradise awaits.
And I could show you proof of a curve, but you wouldn't accept it.
Hang on. I'm dying to see proof of a curve.
Well, Because the thing is, flat earthers will say it's proof of the Earth being flat. It's like crazy. Like
I'd have to ask you to do a simple thought experiment before you do anything, though. So while you're looking for that, let me give you the thought experiment. Perfectly calm day, right? You're planked down in the middle of the ocean with your dinghy, your little round dinghy. Beautiful day. You can see for miles and miles in all directions. You relate the story to your child when you go home or whatever, because the setting was so nice. What shape would you draw? So she or he asked you to draw what you could see in all directions, Daddy. How would you draw it?
it's flat.
Yeah, but how would you draw the picture on paper? What would you draw it in what form?
What, like a flat horizon, right? What do you mean?
Well, I'm talking about all around. So she wants a panoramic drawing, let's say a bird's eye view of what you saw, or what you could
A circle
see in
or
terms of.
something? A circle, I guess.
Yeah, you'd imagine so, wouldn't you, P. Mars? I would draw a circle filled in with blue, and there's you a little in your little dinghy in the middle, right? Now, as you rise up, right, imagine that bloom is connected to a helicopter. It's an amazing story you're telling your daughter. She has a photographic memory. So every picture you draw, she can transfer that into a sort of an active picture within a motion picture within her brain, flicking the pages together. As you go up, you keep drawing the picture. What happens? Does it suddenly change to being a rectangle, or what do you draw?
If I keep going up?
Yeah.
Just like a bigger circle, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard for me.
So everything else is blank. You're over the ocean, and all there is just the ocean and the circle, right? And you in the middle. As the helicopter keeps going up and gets tied to a rocket, isn't that what's going to continuously happen? The higher you go up, just the bigger the circle all around you is going to appear, isn't it? So it's the same with a high altitude balloon. When it goes up and it spins around, make sure you don't mistake that circle or one arc of that circle for a curvature, because it can't be a curvature. The distance, you're only up fucking 100,000 feet, for God's sake. That's only like 10 miles. Well, it's more than that, maybe 20 miles.
This video, in my opinion, shows curvature. This is on, shout out to Shruminati.
Okay, I'm going to have a smoke. Let me watch this, and
I'm sure
I'll turn off my
twice.
camera for a second. I'll have a watch of this, yeah? Look at how small the sun is getting.
So that's the sun sets, and then we go higher in the air with the drone, and we're able to bring the sun back and watch it set twice.
Brilliant. That's exactly what you should happen. You remember that circle you're drawing in the ocean for your daughter?
That's what I'm saying. Like, a flat earther will say that's proof of a flat earth, but it's showing the curve, in my opinion. So I mean,
but remember that circle you're drawing for the panoramic picture for your daughter, right?
Right.
So if you imagine on a flat earth, the sun is just further away as you rise up. Should you not, if you put your head closer to the ground and then you stood up, wouldn't the sun come back into view on a flat plane?
No. Because
on
a flat plane, it should still be behind the horizon, because it's set based on perspective, not based on the curve. Like if it sets based on perspective, increasing your height shouldn't bring the sun back into view. But because it sets on a curve, it's showing obstruction, basically, is what this does, in my opinion.
No, it's the opposite of it. Imagine you're in that dinghy, and there's another guy, P. Mars the second, a clone P. Mars, in a dinghy. Let's say, for the sake of convenience, 6 miles away. Now, at ground level, or ocean level, you're not going to be able to see him, right? So the higher you rise up, his position will change in relation to your viewing angle. So obviously, the higher you do rise up, from your center point of rising, as you increase in height, the angle between you and him is going to become more and more acute, smaller. So obviously, as you're on the ground level, it's going to be a large angle, almost flat, 180 degrees. And then as you move up, and the higher you move up, the more acute it becomes, and the more close to zero it becomes. It's the opposite the way the sun works. The sun is up in the sky, you see. The sun is moving away from you. You are still. The sun is moving away from you, and that's exactly what you should see. I don't understand the difficulty. I mean, the sun sets on on the ground quicker than, and if you just run up the stairs of a tall building, the sun will still be there because it's just going away. It's going beyond the horizon line, beyond the vanishing point. Because land is in the way. At sea is a different matter. My avatar here, my icon, proves a flat Earth. Well, more so, it does prove a flat Earth actually, because it proves flat water, but it also proves a close and a near sun. But it'd take a bit of thinking, and you have to understand how water behaves over a distance, and when it's sort of compressed to your eyesight. You ever see some of those pictures from a scenic view of the wilderness over a lake? You can see.
This picture
you can see, hang on, let's stick to the point for a second. You can see over the lake, and then you have a mirror image in the water of the mountains and the trees in the distance. This is what water behaves like as well over a vast distance, right? Because this is just the nature of the sunlight, how it hits the water looking compressed to your eyes. And that's exactly what the sun disappears behind over water. It's like a mirror, and the sun is just going away. So you are only going to see the reflection in the mirror of the sun. That's the last thing you will see in the water. And then the sun will be gone, and then it'll go back to reflecting the sky again. But this is all pretty simple stuff, P. Mars, and it's basic stuff as well. If you can tell me what you would expect to see on a flat plane, I'd be interested in hearing it, because I can't see how it wouldn't work in the way I'm saying.
I mean, in my opinion, on a flat plane, if the sun sets and then you increase your height, it should still be set because it's away from you.
Right. Well, so, you know a plane in the sky that goes over your head, right? And you watch it go into the horizon. Doesn't it appear to go the way the sun goes? Now, you know that it's not hitting the horizon. Same with the clouds. They're all going, so it appears to our vision that it's going down. Now, as you rise up, the angle between you and the plane at the horizon changes. It becomes more and more horizontal, you know, and that's why you can bring it back into your vision. You know, it's not rocket science. And if you imagine that sun circling, the higher up you go, you should be able to see it from everywhere, like the North Pole. So if you set yourself in the North Pole on a flat Earth, you should be able to see the sun, and you can indeed see that all the way around. We have the footage of the summertime North Pole sun, 24-hour sun, proves it, absolutely proved, ball dead in the water. And you know, again, I don't see the problem here. And again, I'm gone well beyond that as well, because it's just been proven in so many ways.
I mean, this in my opinion really killed the flat Earth for me when I stopped like kind of even considering it, because I just don't see how, like, we see the star trails curving to the both celestial poles, and we see the star trails going straight in the center. I just don't see, I can't visualize or conceptualize in my mind how this can happen on a flat plane.
And this is that a composite?
These are the star trails.
Yeah, but is it a composite?
No, it's time-lapse photography. Or actually, this might be a computer program.
It said using stellarium. Okay.
Yeah, this might be using stellarium, but there are real pictures that show this that you can find. I think these are the real pictures.
But hang on, what does that show about a flat Earth, man? Or what does that say about the Earth? This is about the stars. That's nothing to do with that. I mean, for me, there's electromagnetic.
That's what flat earthers say, but in my opinion, this kills the flat Earth, because that's when I first saw this, I tried to figure out how this could work on a flat Earth. I spent days trying to think about it, and I couldn't figure out for myself. So I just think the flat Earth is dead on right here. But I mean, that's my opinion, and flat earthers don't accept that as evidence. But the thing is, at least I have evidence for there being a sphere. I haven't heard one flat Earth proof. Not one thing that you could tell me that proves the Earth is flat. All it is like questioning NASA hoax stuff. I mean, I looked into the flat Earth forever, and I still don't have a proof the Earth is flat. So
I mean, based on that, then this is a puzzle for. We first of all need to separate what's going on the ground as opposed to what's going on in the sky. I'll give you a few possible explanations for that. If we're dealing with a magnetic sort of core center point emanating from the North Pole, but if we're dealing with a few other different magnetic hotspots in different places, that would affect the movement of any sort of what you might call stars. You claim these stars are all trillions of miles away and flaming massive suns. I'd never heard. Well, I believe that at one stage, but it's such a ridiculous notion. You know, they talk about 40 light years away. We're after finding 7 planets, only 40 light years away, guys. And they give us these beautiful pictures. What they don't tell you really, it's easy to say 40. Everyone knows 40. You know, you can count it up, and you can count it up in two hands. P Mars, I'm sure. I'm kidding, but you know, it's 40. You know, give a guess how many miles 40 light years away is.
I know it's a lot. I wouldn't. No, I couldn't guess.
Come on, P Mars, give us a guess.
Light years? I have no idea
Don't
how much are
remember.
light years. I know they're fuckload, so I don't know.
Rough guess. No,
I don't know. 20 million miles.
that's a lot, man, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably
I
more
mean,
than
when you think
that.
about the Earth's circumference is 25,000 miles, right? So
Yeah.
just to do a quick calculation, 25,000 miles goes into 104, 40. That's 40. And what did you say? 20 million, 40 times 20, it's 800. So that's 800 Earth's circumferences away. Well, you were close enough. I'll tell you. I'll put you out of your misery. We'll give you George 3 for that, right? Um, yeah. Unfortunately, there's a goat behind George 3P Mars because it's not 20 million miles. It's not 20 billion miles, and a billion is 1,000 million. It's not 20 trillion miles. A trillion is 1,000 billion. So a trillion equals to a million, right? It's not that.
Right.
It's 265 trillion miles, uh, something like 700 billion miles. So just 120,000 million miles. And I only know that because I worked it out specifically on the basis of 40 light years. So there you go. It's 285 trillion, 285 trillion, 780 billion, 120 million miles away. So you're out by a factor of possibly a few billion. Now you
Right.
see why you got the goat. So ridiculous, stupid stuff that I can go out there and see with my naked eye. Get the hell out of here, man. You know, so this is all nonsense, and we've had enough of the nonsense. And you can believe what you will, but you have to separate the sky, what's going on in the sky, from what's going on in the ground. What's going on in the ground shows no curvature. Water has never been shown to adhere to a curve. You can't show it. Show it. You know, you can't do it. You can't prove anything. It's just speculative theory, and it's based on absolute fucking wafer thin ground.
You know,
Actually, no ground at all.
I would give you that they could be potentially lying to us about, the Milky Way, our position in the galaxy, and maybe how the solar system works, for sure. But as far as the shape of the Earth, I think there's too many professions. Like, we wouldn't be able to travel. The whole airplane industry wouldn't work correctly if they were lying about the shape of the Earth. Um, I think there's professions, surveyors that use an instrument that can measure the curve. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I think there's a lot of professions on Earth, people who create satellites and operate satellites and use satellites. I mean, it's just the flat Earth has nothing. I think they are lying to us about lots of shit. And fuck, I would give the flat Earth less than 1% chance of being true. I think it is so fucking unlikely. It, I mean, I'm willing
No,
to
you have
say
to.
anything is
You have to
possible,
tell
but
me
it's
these
just
things.
the amount of evidence lined up against the flat Earth is just like flat earthers. Anytime they go into a debate, they get destroyed because they have nothing. They don't even have a model.
No, man. No. Um, well, I thought you said, you see, and I didn't know you too well, P Mars. When we spoke before, it was always sort of a fighting environment anyway.
Yeah.
But no, you're pretty much very novice into this sort of stuff. So,
Okay.
I mean, everything that I would say now, you're going to dispute. You bring in these. I already talked about the problem of assumptions. You're assuming that all these things are true. You're assuming that satellites are true. So if satellites are true, then the rest of this stuff has to be true. But you've yet to prove satellites, you know. And you know there's this dispute on that front. There's more than a dispute. It's a ridiculous lie as well. Simple as that. But
Yeah.
you won't accept that.
Well,
You won't
but
accept that. And on from there, there's too much evidence, you know. And I'm not just talking about this from now, because listen, I've often mentioned a site called Clues Forum, cluesforum.info, and they have a movie. Have you ever seen September Clues, actually?
maybe it'd be a long time ago.
See, there you go. You're not serious at all, man, about this. I want to know who's hurting my fellow man. I want to know why the fuck someone is lying
My
to me.
memory's
I
not
felt
super
strong enough
good.
about, hang on, P. Mars. I felt strong enough about 9/11 to show my beautiful son, right? People jumping from the Twin Towers and having to say to him, I don't want to do this to you, my love, but I have to do it because I want you to be as strong as you can in this world, and you have to know what type of people are out there and what they're willing to do to get their way. And I showed him that. So what do I do then when I go through the 9/11 conspiracy mail and come out the other end safely, really, in one sense, in terms of the events of the day? Now, what happened afterwards, it's a different story. What do I do but tell him that I was fooled, I was tricked, my son, and it was all a fucking movie? There's an onus on me to do that, but I'm not doing that for you. I'm not doing that for fucking any Bush president or any truther, and I'm doing this for me and my son. This is the truth, man, and I'm going to tell him that this is the type of people. I'm going to use the same wordage, really. This is what certain people will do to get their way, and I won't stop from saying that. And it doesn't matter what you think of me or anyone else thinks of me. I'm living my life, and I can see that you're no, I think you're acting the part, P. Mars. You're too smart. And if you've seen September Clues and you took this seriously, you said you lost your family over 9/11, for instance, you would have been all over September Clues going, fucking hell. Isn't it so obvious now looking at it? And that's only the beginning. Then there's so much other work done on all of these, anything you name. The reason I mentioned that site, September Clues, is because they talked about all of this. They're into media fakery. They talked about satellites being fake. There's a thread on cluesforum.info, and it's gone into many pages now, and there's all just the different evidences there to present the case fully and completely against the reality of satellites. It's all a con. It's a science fiction. It's a fantasy developed mostly by Arthur C. Clarke in one of his science fiction short stories. Arthur C. Clarke, of course, went on to inspire Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. So it's all interconnected, and no one is buying it anymore. JFK connects to the fake satellites because he was the major pusher of satellites to transfer them from fantasy into inverted commas or fake reality. Or actually, you can take the fake out of inverted commas and just actually take the fake out and put reality in inverted commas. That'll do it. So that's all me. That's all 2011 stuff. I'm gone well beyond that, man. And you should have been more serious because you've lost stuff in your real life. You've lost friends. You've lost family. To know this truth, because it is the truth. Your chain was pulled. You were tricked. You were fooled. You were, hoodwinked, etc., as the rest of us were. And you should want to know this more than pretty much anything in the world. And you don't, man. You don't. So I can't say any more about that. Go on to letsrollforums.com for God's sake and see the absolute tons of work that has been done by those brilliant investigators. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So this is sort of a waste of time, P. Mars, I'm thinking, because every point is going to be disputed by you. You're just going to say, well, I don't know, I know someone in satellites, or this guy told me that, and, well, this has all been dealt with. And yeah, it's like Jeremy. He's not an honest investigator. None of them are honest investigators. Every point you raise, and this is why I give up on heads as well. I don't mind talking. I don't mind an honest dispute. As Matthew says, Matthew's looking for something different. But as he says, if someone comes up with a sort of conclusive evidence, conclusive proof that it's one way or the other, then you must be driven to go to the place where, all logic and all reason and all evidence leads. That's the true investigator. You're not swayed by anything. Show me the earth is a ball, I'll believe it. Prove to me 9/11 was real, I'll believe it. Prove to me Pearl Harbor was real. The PNAC document talked about a new Pearl Harbor. Isn't that right, P. Mars? Guess how many people were supposed to have died in Pearl Harbor? Well, you'll never guess, 3,000. So if 9/11 was the new Pearl Harbor, we have how many people died in 9/11? About 3,000. Well, and if Pearl Harbor was hoaxed, well, then we have another connection there, isn't it? So, I mean, this is all old stuff, old news. And, I was on Pete's channel tonight, and yeah, of course he's right. Of course he's right. I mean, this is not, what I found with Ed's people, every single point that they would pull you up on, right? So in terms of your own understanding, because we're all trying to move forward in terms of our understanding, in terms of your own understanding, you get
Agreed.
absolutely fucking nowhere. Even the most basic things get shot down, and that's not productive in any sense. And all that will lead to is a disruption in this investigative process that all honest and true investigators are going through. We're just after finding out they faked the fucking universe. They faked the universe, people. What else do you think they could fake? What else do you think they could fake? So I'm not buying their shit anymore. Everything goes back to first principles. Everything I've been taught goes back to first principles. And when you find that they go back to first principles, every fucking thing collapses. There's problems with everything, with evolution, with dinosaurs, with geology, with geography, with, you know, cosmology, with astronomy. There's problems with fucking biblical literatures. There's problem with historical accounts. There's problem with everything. There's problems with men being women. Do you think Michelle Obama was Mooshell, as I didn't call her that, but that was the name. Yeah, Manshell. That's what I called it. That was my name, Manshell Obama.
Pete, I would just like to
Do
say
you think that's true?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's possible, but I couldn't prove it. I mean, I could, but Pete, for the record, I don't think you're stupid or anything, and I could totally see why someone would think the Earth is flat, and I don't think anyone's stupid for researching the Earth is flat. I just don't think it's flat, and it's cool. Like we can disagree and still be friends. We don't have to all think the same. So you know, I have no ill will to you, Pete, or anything.
So let me ask you a question. And I thought it won't go on too long anyway. The rest of your friends might want to come on, but
oh yeah, and Uncle joined. I put the link out because we've been talking a while. So yeah, people are welcome to join.
Have you any children, Pimar?
I do not.
Right. So, but you were a child, obviously. You were young when you were a baby as
Yeah.
well. That's a coincidence, man. That must be a conspiracy. But you can put yourself in the shoes. You might have younger brothers or nephews or nieces or whatever. You ask that child, right? Beautiful child, beautiful innocent child who's completely pure to the ways of the world, to put out their arms, close their eyes, and answer you honestly. Are you moving or are you still? What do you think that child is going to tell you?
Sorry, what was the question? You asked a child what?
Are you moving? You have the child there.
Oh.
Do you know anything about the flat ball or anything at all?
He would say
Are you going
no,
to tell, you ask the child,
probably.
are they moving or are they still? What do you think they're going to tell you?
They're going to tell you they're still.
They're perfectly still. They know. Listen to the children.
Okay, that's
Now try to explain
your
to them.
reasoning of
Now
evidence.
try to explain to them that they're going 1,000 miles an hour, within 60,000 miles an hour, within 600,000 miles an hour, within fucking 6 million, billion, gazillion, brillion miles per hour. At some point.
And there's the illusion, right there. Misinterpretation of numbers and what's really going on in the universe and the philosophy of things that we may not understand or only look at one portion.
Hang on a sec. Hang on a sec, please. Hang on a sec.
Sentences.
No courtesy. I don't know who the fuck you are. So at least before you go into
Well,
something.
he actually introduced me to you, but you just kind of bulldozed over top of him. So I've decided to go ahead and introduce myself to you.
Well, who are you then?
My name is the Uncle May.
The man from
Anyway.
Uncle. So I take it you're a reasonable, rational man, and you know the Earth is flat from all observations and from all measurements possible.
So believing that it's not flat makes me unreasonable to you? Is that what you just kind of want to get at, or?
So you're not going to confirm or deny what I said? Okay. Every question I pose, you're going
Well,
to.
no. It's a spheroid, man.
Spheroid.
At least that's, yeah.
How do you
But you want to use words. See, that's the thing that's been annoying me is you have it in all your sentences. You have a hidden agenda or a hidden put down. So basically, you saying you sound like a reasonable man because
How do you figure?
you hope that I would say it's flat.
No, hang on, man.
So
How do you figure?
Well, yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah, hang on. How do you figure? It's a spheroid. Spheroid. How do you figure?
Because I've done my homework. basically navigation, man. That's what did it for me. Navigation and observations of the moons, but mainly navigation.
You gotta shout out Shroomy Uncle.
Oh, Shroomy. Hey, Shroomy, how you doing? Killuminati.
Okay, have you navigated a lot?
Well, let's grab a compass and figure that out. But I wanted to go back to your topic about thousands of miles an hour and stuff, because that you were bringing up the kids and the motion and the movement, and you know what I mean. And you know, I hear that, but the one thing that we keep forgetting is revolutions per day. So if you want to talk about thousands of miles an hour, spinning in thousands of miles an hour, millions of miles an hour, when in fact we're only doing one revolution per day. I mean, that's like standing literally in the front yard and turning yourself 360 degrees only once for that day. And
okay,
that's kind of slow.
Okay, let me just give you another thought experiment. We know how large the Earth is, or is said to be. So let's expand the Earth to the size of the universe, right? And you're on the peripheral of that. Would you say that, well, the universe only revolves once per day, so it's not too fast? It's only once per day, man. Or would you say that must be astronomical speeds in order to complete that?
In relation to what, though? That's what I'm saying. You're only doing.
The size of the Earth.
Most people, when they say thousands of miles an hour, they're trying to interpret ventriloquial force as the argument, and that's what I mean. You're creating illusions, but you're not really speculating what should happen. So people are trying to say thousands of miles an hour, expecting us to fly off this ball or even frisbee. Let's go with the flat Earth. If the thing was so, basically, you believe that your flat Earth isn't rotating at all, because we're not flying off the frisbee. But really, if we were rotating, it's only once per day, so there is no ventriloquial force with that motion.
Okay, so you're.
And then you're going to say, well, at the equator, well, hold on, we have a thing called atmosphere, so it becomes a closed container. So when you're in your car driving, you're moving with your car, right? So if your car is going 50 miles an hour, you open the door, jump out. Well, you yourself are going to be, moving at 50 miles an hour until, but being slowed down by like wind resistance, and then you're going to hit the ground and roll and get scraped up and probably be dead, or maybe not dead, but you're eventually going to slow down to the rotation. So really, when you're going thousands of miles an hour, going in the same direction, you're going a little bit faster than 1,000 miles an hour on the equator. But you'll roll to an eventual stop, which puts you at the same speed as the speed of wherever surface you're at.
Let's imagine your imaginary daughter is holding a rope, right? And her clone, or let's say her brother, is you can name the length of the rope. You can keep increasing it. Let's start it off at 1 kilometer. So you want your daughter to spin. You say, I want you to spin once per day, honey, right? So she spins once per day, right? Not too much of a struggle for her, but she's holding the rope, and her brother is at the other end of the rope, and he has to do exactly the same. Who's spinning faster?
But there's no ventriloquial force involved with that. And are they both spinning? And which way are they spinning? Are they going to cooperate and try to create a yin-yang motion, or are they going to spin and collapse in the middle, as they bounce each other's shoulder, or are you trying to create a jump rope? See, that's what I mean. You're not being specific enough to answer some of these questions.
Okay, let's start off smaller.
I'm not even trying to debate here. I'm just trying to understand your understanding of things.
Let's start off smaller. Let's start off at 20 meters, right? Your daughter isn't moving. She's fixed the spot. Your son is the one who's rotating. They're both rotating at 1 revolution per day, right?
Oh, okay, right. So the son's on the outside. Daughter's going to stay in the middle, and you want the son to rotate around the daughter.
Yes.
Okay. Once per day.
Who is rotating? That's not my question. Who is going faster?
In terms of what? Revolutions or speed?
So we have
the person on the outside would be technically going faster.
Okay, so as you increase...
But the revolution means that they're going the same rate.
Right, but there's a speed. Do we have to define velocity, rim velocity, speed?
And what are you trying to gather with what you're talking about with speed, though? Well, What does that have to do with any argument? So what you're trying to get at there is you're trying to say ventriloquial force and gravity. We should be flying off the surface is what your end game is.
Let's imagine, no, hang on. So again, if you extend it out, you would have to give the answer that it appears that the person at the other end of the rope will be going much faster. The bigger you increase the distance, the quicker it would have to go in terms of rim velocity. Of course, both of them would be doing 1 revolution per day. Now, let's place your daughter into the very center of the earth with a rope long enough, connecting her to her brother on the surface of the earth, 3,500 miles long. Each does a revolution per day. Who is going faster?
The person on the outside. But again, you do realize that once per day is absolutely slow enough that it creates no ventriloquial force in this container that we're in.
So what about Coriolis effect?
I do realize that
okay, we're talking Coriolis, that's in relation to north and south, right? So depending on the equator.
I do realize
and it equates to very long distances.
Okay, I do realize that absolutely everything associated with a spinning ball is utter fantasy. Utter fantasy. Mathematically speaking, physically speaking, intellectually speaking, and philosophically speaking. You can't answer that basic question. You have to keep going back to saying, well, they're doing 1 revolution per day. I just showed you that there's a distinction between the two of them.
Let's do another experiment then. You grab a yo-yo yourself, because you can do this yourself. You don't need people around you, right? And you just let the yo-yo dingle down towards your feet, right? And you do a 1 revolution in a day. And you see how far that yo-yo, will spin away from you. And you'll see that it won't.
What?
Welcome, Matthew.
Again, that's not talking shape, is it?
I think it's a bad argument because it's like me and Uncle one time we had a conversation about scale, about how like a fruit fly lives for a day, right? So a day to a fruit fly seems like a lifetime, but to us, it's not very long, and that's sort of like.
But why are you trying to justify a position that it only exists in your imagination? Why are you trying to justify that?
So like the Earth is traveling whatever miles, like really fast speed, but it's only turning once per day, which isn't that fast because of scale.
You can't feel it, you can't see it, but yet you're told it, so it only exists in your imagination.
Well, I can't see air, but yet we need it. We need to breathe oxygen.
You can see air.
You can't see it, but
if you need to, you can't prove.
But it exists,
You can't prove you're moving.
Well, you can't prove to me that it's flat either. But yet navigation proves that. A compass, you can do that. You can go in a straight line from west coast to east coast United States and see that the compass remains west. And then you can put that on a 2-dimensional paper and say, well, this is a straight line going west, and the compass remains west.
Where does the compass point?
Wait a minute.
Now, if it was on a space pizza, the compass,
compass?
Would be moving because you wouldn't really have to be. You couldn't really maintain the same course without the compass moving.
Hang on. Let's get back to basics. What is
so? In other words, United States would be in a U if it was on a space frisbee. Like it wouldn't be shaped the way it is; it'd have to be shaped differently. If you're to,
are you going to put on a camera, Uncle?
Well, let's imagine an Earth-sized clock. Right now, if you had an hour hand that represented, a 24-hour clock, not a 12-hour clock. A clock goes on twice, so it has to be a 24-hour. You have to double the size of the surface, so it only has, has all the hours of the day all on the clock. Now, if you stood on the hour hand at the North Pole, and then at the other end of the hour hand,
now is the North Pole in the middle of the clock?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right now, if you start on the other end of the hour hand, are you going to be experiencing the same things?
Wouldn't you be at the edge of the planet if it's a flat clock?
Well, yeah, that's
the clock still. The hour hand is still.
Let's draw a straight line, and you'll walk. Is there a plank we can walk off of, or?
No, what I'm saying is that hour hand is only going to go 1 revolution per day. But at different points across the hour hand, You're going to experience
well,
different
if
things.
it's a clock, it actually goes around twice because it's got 12.
That's why I said you need to double the clock. You need to.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I missed that part.
Yeah, you need to double the clock. Have a big clock, like all the hours all on the face, not a half clock.
Yeah, I'm with you. You got 24 hours on that clock. Okay, and you're gonna, on the outer hand. Okay.
You're gonna feel something. You're gonna feel different.
Hey, Matthew, we're here again. How you doing, Matt?
Hey, I'll see you for a while.
Hello, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, I can see you.
I'm not going to hang out here long. This is all the same as last year, Matt, if you remember, and it goes nowhere. And we've moved on beyond that. Of course, we've come leaps and bounds in the last few days, weeks, which I expected. So what you call it off? The bottle is open now, Matt, and all of these feeble arguments, they're all feeble, and special pleading. All of this stuff exists in P. Mars and Uncle's brain, you know what I mean? They can't show any ounce of proof of any of this, so they're just
Well, that's what I'm trying to
get.
get at. You haven't, closed your mouth far enough to let me say, well, hold on. It's
No,
you
I'm not
guys
here,
that
man.
need to prove it to me.
I've
I've asked for a map. I've asked for things, and none of it ever fucking adds up. So you can keep going on to your
Yo, Uncle Ed.
there.
What's up,
you?
Pete?
I don't really want to talk to him.
1 second, P. Mars, are you supporting Globe now?
Yeah, I switched, man.
Did you?
Tim Osmond saved me from the flat Earth, I think.
Really?
Yeah, there's been quite a few people, Matthew. I don't know if you heard. Hank Hill.
No, I didn't know.
Hank Hill too.
Ankel, not a chance. No way.
Oh yeah, he's geocentrist.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to prove that to myself, Thors.
He has a channel. He has a channel now where he does hangouts.
I'll say, how you doing, Thors? I haven't spoken to you in a while. Okay.
Been a long time no see. Hope you're good, man.
I'll have to look into that. I find that hard to believe, Math, but if it's so,
I think he's a geocentrist now, mate.
No. Now, somebody was doing a clock thing, right? And he never got to finish.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying it's stood at the center of the clock compared to the hour hand at the edge of the clock, which equator distance away. You're going to be experiencing different things, aren't you? With rotation, surely you are. You're not going to experience the same thing.
But again, one revolution is so slow, you don't really experience anything anyway.
Yeah,
like the guy on the outer, he'll be walking more of a straighter line than the dude that's literally rotating in the same standing position.
Yeah, like if you were on a Ferris wheel that spun once per day, you wouldn't feel hardly shit on that.
Yeah, but okay.
Increase the Ferris wheel size. Increase the size.
Anyway, what I want to go back to is why does everybody keeps going on about
somewhere if that
16,000 miles an hour
going
is that trying to portray?
What I'm saying is, if you extend the hour and longer and longer and longer and longer and longer, you're going to get to a point where the tip of the hour hand is going to be going speed of light. So you still say it's only doing one revolution a day, but the end of it's going to be going ridiculous speeds if you keep extending it.
That's probably true. I'm not saying that. That's what I'm saying. At the equator, it's rotating 1,000 miles an hour.
Are you going to?
However, because the grand scale of things and how everything ships out, we don't feel shit because it's only the revolution is only once for the day. In fact,
a load of
the
rubbish.
further out it goes, and you stand there and you realize it's going actually, it takes a lot longer to complete that revolution.
This is really short. I don't want to do that.
Okay, you're at North Pole. One step out, you're going to feel the same. 2 steps out, you're going to feel the same. But at what distance are you going to feel a difference?
That depends on the container. Like I said, you could be. Doesn't matter the size of the jet. If you're going the same speed as the jet, you're sweet ass, right? Jump out that jet, and you'll feel a big difference. You better hope you have a parachute too.
Uncle, your mic's getting some noise. Someone's mic.
Hold on.
Is it Matthew?
Try to fix that. Doesn't feel like it's me though.
Oh, I think it might be Matthew. Yeah, your mic's messed up, Matthew. That sucks.
All I was trying to point out, like I said, I wasn't here to really debate, but I'm just tired of the same old thousands of miles an hour. Well, okay, great. Now that you're stating thousands of miles an hour, can you state to me what that is being interpreted to be doing?
Look, here's my camera. Put on your camera, buddy. Let's see how genuine you are.
It's like when you go to swat a fly,
Put on your camera.
Because a scale.
Let me see a face.
You're like a giant to that fly, so that you're moving really slow. You're moving really slow compared to that fly because of scale. That's why it's hard to hit a fly. It's all like a scale thing because they're
Not
tiny.
your words, man. I was talking about this guy, Uncle's words. Let me see a face to his words.
What is it
I'd
matter
rather
if
not
he
because I don't have a camera on the PC. So
Yeah, Maf, good to see you, buddy. Let's have a chat soon. P Mars, you know, what did I expect anyway?
I enjoyed.
I know Thor is an actor. Why do you think I don't speak in Eds anymore, Thors? I'm done with all that.
because we've
Nothing to be served. It can be seen
we
here.
have
You just
utterly
back to
destroyed
square
any
one.
objection that you have.
No, it's not.
We
I'm not
showed the
interested in
Japan
that. I
case
moved
for
on to
flat
different things, man. I moved on to the North Pole. That's where I'm looking at now.
I mean, I enjoyed the conversations, Pete. So thanks for coming.
Yeah, I know, man. But it's getting nowhere. And listen, best of luck in your search. And the truth will always come to you if you're open-hearted enough and you're honest enough, I think.
I agree with that.
So
dude, I'm ready
that's
to
what I
think
do. I
about
wish everyone well.
the Germans are going to do an experiment in North Pole
I don't want to
soon.
talk to actors anymore. Amaf, you know a reason why. We've been in this long enough.
You have no reason to think we're actors,
so-
Pete. They're just deluding themselves.
It's all right, man. It's all right.
They're just like
Yeah,
Spurs.
man,
By the way,
motherfucker.
did you see?
Motherfucker.
By the way, Pete, did you see Spurs' latest video? He thinks that Mark Sargent is Illuminati or Freemason shill because he holds a microphone that is shaped like a ball.
I mean, I actually agree.
what
I
he
think
likes.
Mark Sargent's
Mark
a
Sargent's a
shill.
prepper, you know, so let him think what he likes. It won't bother me.
Well, okay, you might think that he's a shill, but not because he's holding a
Yeah.
microphone that is shaped like a globe.
Well,
That is a ball.
not because of the ball microphone, but I actually have the same microphone as Mark Sargent. I better not let Spurs.
You're a Masonic shill too.
But there is something to the hand signs.
Yeah, I don't get involved in personalities anymore, and it's just the information, and that'll do with me. And as you can see from tonight, you're hopelessly devoid of any real information, and you're trying to get a grasp yourself on fantasy land, and you can't really do it. So you're not going to sell it anymore to a flat earthers, people who have come this far. Come off. So anyway, I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to bow out, and Maf, we'll talk soon, buddy. Okay?
Yeah, I sent you a message, mate, for you ignoring me.
No, not at all, Maf. I was sick as a dog for the last few days, but no, not at all. Don't worry about that.
Wait. You're sick even though you're using this awesome urine therapy?
Yeah,
How can
I
you
was
be
sick for a
sick?
different reason.
how can he be sick? He's
Sick for
still
different
eating
reasons.
animals, mate. He's still eating animals and cooking his food. Of course,
I eat animals. Yeah, I haven't been sick in years, and I don't drink my piss.
Don't tell me you're not.
It's a different thing. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about the insults, Thor. That doesn't work anymore.
It's not an
That's a
insult per
different story,
se. It's just pointing out the inconsistency with your idea that urine therapy works. Right? If it's such a miracle cure, I mean, gosh damn. Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you know Uncle, but Pete drinks his own piss.
You know.
I've heard about this fella.
The flat earthers say this is my
I was going to say
problem.
it's nice to meet him, but we never got that.
See, this is my problem with these people that don't do research and they listen to YouTube shows. These flat earth YouTubers will say that urine is sterile, but if you do research, I mean, it is sterile, but then when it goes into the bladder, there's bacteria in the bladder that it picks up. So there's bacteria in your fucking urine. It comes out of your body for a reason. It's pretty like self-evident that you shouldn't be drinking your piss, and that shit's stupid cult behavior. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, urine technically is sterile. It's only not sterile when you already have an infection in your body, right? Like you said in the urethra, right?
No, man. Like, there's bacteria in your body, like in your bladder, that it picks up. Like,
I know there's. Well, if you're a man, okay, sure, maybe. But yeah, it's a bad idea anyway to drink your piss. It has heavy metals in it that your body expels. And
right. It's waste. It's
just
what your body doesn't want. It's waste product.
Yeah,
Why would you eat waste?
Just asking for early kidney failure. Really, it's just. That's one of the warnings there for urine therapy. But yeah. Anyway.
Also, it's gross. So, there's that too.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyways, I guess that's the show. Fucking Pete was our show. You scared him off though as an uncle.
I'm sorry.
Well, title hangout or 9/11. So I come in thinking, oh, I'll just defend Dr. Judy Wood's position.
Yeah,
And
we could talk about that if you want.
9/11 talk when I got here with all flat Earth.
Well, we started off talking. Pete has the conversation go to all these crazy places, man. I don't know. And then I was trying to bring it on 9/11. We got on 9/11 for a little bit, but of course it always goes to flat Earth. Every time you talk to a flat earther, they always bring up flat Earth, no matter how, you try and talk about 9/11 or something else. Because it all ties together, I guess. Well, I mean, it does in a way, so there's some truth to that, but yeah. I'm pretty
do you know Reiki massage? Reiki?
No.
Have you heard of it?
No.
There's a Reiki or Reiki, depending on how you pronounce it, I suppose. I'm pronouncing it mathway, so God knows how it's meant to be pronounced. Well, I met someone today who, in history, used to do Reiki massage for people, and he claimed that he believes in reptilians. He reckons he's seen parts change during Reiki massage.
Okay. Huh.
Interesting.
Well, what's this Reiki massage about?
It's just
Is it Reiki?
It's like I can't remember. It's R-E-I-K or I something like that. R-E-I-K-I.
This is a particular type of massage.
Let me Google it.
Yeah,
Is
it's
there anything sort of special
R-E-I-K-I.
about it?
I'm Googling it right now. It's Japanese technique.
That's when you stand on a man.
Life force. It's about chi, it looks like.
Oh,
Life force, energy, release stress, happy, healthy.
Well,
I
he
even got
claimed,
excited when that piss guy wanted to talk about North Pole. He said he was more into North Pole, and I thought, ooh, he might be excited to hear that there's, Germany's going to send another expedition over with the Poseidon icebreaker boat, where they plan to freeze it, like get it stuck in a berg and just let it just drift across. And but no, I didn't mean to scare him off. Just I got tired of him being judgmental and idiotic. And
I mean, I talked to him solo for over an hour, so.
Oh, okay. And
I could see where
I wasn't even planning on talking. I was just gonna. Stop
I think we had gone over pretty much everything, or I got over everything I wanted to say to him, and then I could tell we were gonna get into a loop of flat Earth quagmire. That's what 9/11 is. I think they designed these psyops, like the 9/11 quagmire. They tried to focus the debate on what temperature steel melts, and people don't even bring up, there was a 2001 anthrax attack that got sent to the politicians who voted against the Patriot Act, and when they traced this anthrax back to a military lab, because it was the only one that could have the technology to produce this shit. It's like
military grade, wasn't it?
And then of course, because that conspiracy has evidence and is real, we won't talk about that. We'll talk about no one died. Fucking give me a break with this shit. I'm so sick of these unbelievable conspiracies when we can talk about real shit that has evidence. But no, we want to talk about. I like to speculate and talk. Sometimes I'll have people on. We'll be like, okay, let's. Hypothetically, it's fun to fantasize about maybe this is what they're doing and you don't have any evidence, and that's fine to have that discussion, but Pete will just act like he has no evidence to prove this shit, and he just acts like it's true. That's really irritating to me, I guess.
Well, he does have evidence, doesn't he? Yeah, see, he's not making it up. He has got sources for his information.
But he doesn't vet his sources. He's not good at researching, so he falls for propaganda really easily, in my opinion. Because one of the first things I got into researching was propaganda, so I wouldn't just believe everything the alternative media says.
Well, P-Mars, can you go on camera, P-Mars, so I can see what kind of man you are?
I love whenever that kind of breaks down to that there is no real argument.
Yeah, Pete
jumps
to that up.
Yeah, it's basically surfing for a way to put you down.
Exactly. Yeah,
his very first sentence was amusing, and the fact that it was, hopefully you're a sensible man and know that it's flat. I'm like, well, so if I believe in something else, I'm not sensible then.
Yeah,
It's basically what he's saying to anybody out there in the world. The whole world.
And,
it's like,
and he loves to ask like questions about other conspiracies, and if you say that you don't believe in them, he's gonna be like, "Oh well, I know what kind of man you are now. Look, this guy believes that this didn't happen."
He's basically, it's basically a way to connect a fit-in circle, a circle jerk circle, regardless of the facts, regardless of what's even the belief is. It doesn't matter. He could believe in space balls,
Ever since
space alien Cheeto balls, and if somebody else does, then they're in the in crowd and they're sensible.
Yeah, but if you present Pete with evidence, he will change his mind.
Going back to 9/11, see, I even get confused when people want to talk the conspiracy. At first, I used to think, "Are you saying nobody died?" But most people, they say, "No, that's not what we're saying at all." And I'm glad
if you present Pete with evidence, he will change his mind. He's not stuck in his ways. When I showed him evidence towards...
Are you kidding?
Yeah, absolutely. His opinion changed on
You're
crop circles.
kidding, okay.
Matthew Williams coming to...
No, Matthew, we've been through this. No, he changed his opinion on crop circles relatively easily because it doesn't contradict the sort of major set of beliefs that he has about everything being a conspiracy and nobody died in Charlie Hebdo, etc., right? Crop circles, that's easy to, either they're real or not, it's easy to accommodate in that worldview. But once you challenge him on something that is really crucial to his worldview, like 9/11 being an inside job, right? Moon landing, Earth being flat, etc., you will have huge resistance.
Yeah, well, there's 4 people in this room, and I don't doubt any of us agree about what happened on 9/11.
That's
Maybe.
true.
So what?
And we could probably all get along too without putting each other down over it.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean? But this is insane. How can we live in a world where just 4 of us now don't even agree on facts about what happened in our lifetime?
Because the technocrats are in control and they're lying to us. And there is real conspiracies. But that doesn't mean every conspiracy is true. Like, you have to have evidence to say these things, unless you're speculating, which is fine. But then just preface your statements with, this is speculation, and then there's no issue.
And a lot of times it comes down to a broad situation. Like, do we all, when you say we all disagree, as far as what details or in general? Because in general, how many of us believe it happened exactly the way the media portrayed it at the time?
One of us.
Just Thor's?
Yeah. So technically that's something we all agree on, I guess. I don't know about the third guy.
No. Foz agrees that
What?
I'm going to speak.
Would I agree?
Foz agrees
Now,
that 9/11 Commission spot nailed it.
No, I actually haven't read the report, right? So, but I generally think 90% of it would be accurate. I didn't doubt there's some machinations and trying to alleviate, guilt from, the people inside the government because they fucked up seriously to allow this kind of thing. But actually, even though I don't believe that's a major conspiracy or even at all, I do believe there are some conspiracies in the government, mainly about the economic system, capitalism, right? Consumerism.
Yeah. That's what I think it's about.
That's the real problem.
And a lot of people get stuck on the very minute details of verbatim report, like this line on paragraph 3, sentence number 2, has this and that, and the problem is looking at the big picture, that's the psyop has won. It's already done its thing. They only need to hold the public at bay or create the situation for the UN long enough to do what they need to do, and after that, it doesn't even matter if it's leaked out. How many things have been discovered, and does anything change?
Yeah, it doesn't really. America can still legally support a country that is committing genocide, for example, if the Congress deems it in the interest of American interests, basically, right? That's the sort of sloppy, open wording, which basically allows the Congress to willy-nilly decide, hey, you know what, we're going to support this evil dictator who's murdering these people and give him arms, which has happened, by the way, in Indonesia, right, to support Indonesia and their annexation of Eastern Timor, which, by the way, Australia asked for of the Indonesian prime minister, right? And so there are these sort of known, I don't know if you call it conspiracies, but just open atrocities that have been committed in the name of capitalism, right? And just subtly buried in the sort of consciousness of the people, right? It's just because whenever because I listen a lot to Noam Chomsky, right, and Dr. Richard David Wood. Whenever they mention these kind of things, like, oh, did you know Eastern Timor, right, Indonesia, and how America supported that whole genocide, giving weapons to this regime along with Britain, right, and help and support of Canada, France, Japan, right? People are in shock because this is not known, even though this is public knowledge. Well, public knowledge in the sense the information is public, right? But people are just not aware of this because the media will not tell you about this, because that's a huge issue for the system. It sort of shows the consequence of our current system that we have, right? It's going to lead to these kind of atrocities in the name of getting as much resources for the country that you live in, right?
Yeah. Bill
And that's just to name one.
Bill Burr did a pretty funny joke. Maybe I'll probably play that. I don't know. I'm kind of ready to end this stream. How do you guys feel? I mean, like, I pretty much did this to debate Pete, and he's gone, and yeah.
Well, all right. You don't want to talk to me, Primaz, you'll find me over at the stream.
You want to go?
I'm his hitman. I scare people away for him. No, I'm kidding.
I think I think this is a good time to end. I don't know. I like the point Thor's made, and I can play this little Bill Burr clip where he's talking about what Thor's sort of talking about here. And
yeah, play that, and I'll sound out.
All right, guys.
Cool. I'll sign out, let you play that. And
cool, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for everyone in the chat, and I'm sure I'll see you all around.
All right, see you.
All right. Well, that was fun to talk to Pete. I enjoyed that. I hope he had fun. I'm on Google Hangouts to have fun.
Trees and the swim up bars. And
and it
our mess.
Yeah, I finally wormed it in. This is there's basically no middle class in that country. Not touch. You just have to go up.
I want to touch it.
You just got to take one finger and
just poke at it.
Yeah. Don't tell me what to do the second I come in your store.
Crazy people do those things. That's why they're crazy.
The Opie and Anthony Podcast.
Hey, are we gonna do this thing or what, Bill?
Oh, the shark thing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I was backstage at the PNC Arts Center.
Yes.
And I'm getting ready to do like another vacation. I'm just sick of doing these you go to those stupid resorts where you sit at the bar pool having a pina colada, just some crap you'd never drink. There's somebody urinating next to you. And then they always have they create this paradise in the middle of this unbelievable poverty to the point they have to build like 10-foot walls so these people won't climb in and stab you with Cohiba cigars.
Because they're so pissed off.
Let's
really rile them up. Let's build a paradise in the middle of a slum.
There's basically no middle class in that country. And we're doing something, drilling oil or, put a military base.
Bill,
There's something we're doing that's
man.
irritating them. Basically, you land in these countries, and they put you on a bus, and they drive like 80 miles an hour and blow by all the poverty. There's like people chasing chickens and stuff, and then they just drop you off at this resort. Dun, 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 dun. Isn't this great?
Good, man.
Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I can't do these vacations. It's just too much. I got too much white guilt.
Hold on, before you move on. I've been going on those vacations I've done 10 of those. You've just nailed it.
Oh, yeah, and I used to always sit there and be like, why am I getting all these dirty looks? Like, I went to Costa Rica, and I'm like, why am I getting all these dirty looks from these...
And you wonder, why is the help so surly? Because they're going back to their poverty.
They're allowed into paradise just to clean up our mess.
Yeah, I finally wormed it in. This is I read this book. It's called Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
Yeah.
This will explain why you get the dirty looks when you go. Because I'm basically, if I go to a country and we had a war with them and we kicked their ass, it's like, okay, yeah, we probably knocked down your famous statue, raped a couple of your women, casualties of war. Now, I know why I'm getting the dirty looks when I'm at the resort. When I go to Costa Rica, it's like, I don't remember the American-Costa Rican War.
Where is that battle?
Yeah, but this book here, this Confessions of the Economic Hitman, it's written by this guy, John Perkins, and it basically explains how through, like, governmental loans, we ensnare these people in this debt that they never get out of, and we just, it's like brilliant evil. And this isn't like, George Bush is an idiot. It isn't one of those books. It's just about this guy's job. He basically lays awake at night trying to justify the crap that he's doing. It's like reading like Goodfellas. It's like the mob. I can't explain it, man.
I want to read that.
You got to read this book. Just put your joystick down, for the love of God, Anthony.
Joystick. Stop shooting imaginary things.
How crazy that this show is. I actually bought 2 copies because I was envisioning Opie ripping up one of them or burning them.
I would actually read that.
Yeah, you want?
Yeah, I would read that.
You know what? I'm not buying this. Go ahead and rip it.
No,
up.
I swear to God.
It's really.
I'm a reader.
People
don't know that. I'm a reader. I'm reading about rats right now, but I'll read this next.
Where does this plug in?
Huh?
What is this? Book? What do they call that?
Can we get back to Paradise?
Oh, yeah. So, anyways.
We should keep going with that. That is just hilarious. With the fake palm trees and the swim-up bars.
And it's the greatest time. But it's literally, if you go over that wall, you're getting macheted like a coconut.
And they got these guys that live in poverty that rake the beach for you to make it really nice.
Yeah, they allow them to come into the Paradise just to clean up your mess.
Right.
And then get back out.
The best is in the bus going 80 miles an hour. They purposely do that so you have a better time when you get to the resort.
You get all nervous when you have to stop somewhere and you start looking around like
we're going to get kidnapped. Here we go.
Going to get caught slipping.
This guy,
but they all love
couldn't beat out Sammy Sosa.
But
now he's upset.
They all love Nike and Puma though. They got that. All the locals, they got their Nike shirts and their Puma
they stole
sneakers
them from work, making 8 cents an hour.
Yeah, those are the T-shirts that he find under the bed.
He's got a pair of Pumas. There you go.
No,
Progress.
I just find that a little strange. That's all.
Oh, that I don't know. Like I said, I don't. I very rarely read. That's why I'm suggesting that.
What would their economy be if we weren't there? Or if these resorts weren't there, if Americans and other richer countries didn't come there and spend their money?
That book basically explains how we'll like give them a loan, right? Like back in the day after World War II, to be like, hey, you want to get into the 20th century? We'll
help you out.
We'll give you $1 billion to build a dam. Then you can make electricity. You know what I mean? You'll bring your country in, and you'll make $1 zillion, and your gross national product will go through the roof, 30%. Everybody will love you, and you get to be dictator forever or whatever, right? The only catch was that you could only hire an American company to build the dam. So the great thing is the money leaves America and comes right back within 2 seconds. And the genius is they still owe the money. They still owe the money. And then the fact that their economy is going to go up by 30% is actually a lie. It only goes up by 8%. So we show them on
America
on paper.
You and me.
Yeah, they show them on paper how they're basically going to be able to pay back these loans. So basically, after 3 years, they're in this debt. They default on the loan, and then we come back like the mob, like, hey, now we got a problem.
So how do we collect?
The only way to pay back, you got to give us the dam. At which point we control your electricity, possibly your water supply, or you got to let us drill for oil, or
Who did we do this to?
Or build a military base to protect your country. Dude, it is brilliant. So now the only option this guy's left with is to basically say yes, sell out his people so he can still remain the leader, or he goes, you know what, F you guys, I'm not doing this stuff. And at that point,
we replace him.
I actually talked to this guy when I did this radio show. He came in. I go, what did we do then? He goes, oh, we sent out like the hitmen, like jackals is what they would call them.
And you just replace him with the guy that will be cooperative?
You ever see those little plane crashes they have? He goes, yeah, like those things. He goes, really, is he sabotage?
Those little plane crashes.
Yeah, that they have. We did it to the guy in, like, Panama. We did it to a guy in Ecuador. It's hilarious. and then, now this is the thing. Now, if you can't get to the guy, or if you can't get one of his henchmen around him, do you want to be dictator? We do that. Give him a PlayStation, and they do this stuff, right?
And they knock off the guy.
They knock off the guy. But if the guy won't do it, the last resort is you start a war. And that's when you go out there, these guys, they're going to get us. And we're like, then when we start getting all freaked out about a country we don't even know where it is. Oh, these Ecuadorians! They're gonna kill us. And that's like the last resort, dude. It's an unbelievable book. You got to read it. And what I love about it, like I said, it doesn't, like, it's basically going back like 40, 50 years in history, you know what I mean? There's been Democrats, Republicans, all that. So
I will read it with a completely open mind.
Yeah.
We'll read it and we'll have you back in there, Bill. So getting back to the vacation thing.
You should have John Perkins coming. I'm an idiot. I just read what he wrote. So
getting back to the vacation
thing.
So
getting back to this stuff. So I'm sitting there going, I can't go to these stupid-ass resorts and drink these gay drinks that I never drink.